Okay. You never guess what happened to me. I was trying to get on from my desktop, and I was trying to fix the monitor. All of a sudden it unplugged, so I had to rush over here to my phone. And as soon as I get it up and running on the desktop, I'll be on the desktop. So how's everybody doing? I'm so silly. Silly, 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 silly. Hey Lavelle, hey Miss Fat, hey Jana, hey Black Beauty, hey Shannon. Let's see. Hey Nick, hey Nicole, hey Lala, hey Forensic Tech Guy. What are you running to? Hey guys, I'm good. I'm trying to get on my desktop. I'm just waiting for the desktop to boot up. Boot up, boot up, boot up, boot up. So I messed up. Hey Trevin. Hey stranger, where you been, stranger? What you been up to? So guys, I'm just waiting for the computer to boot itself up so I can go so you guys can see my face. So you guys can see me. Ooh. I didn't know I was gonna unplug the thing. I'm so silly. Silly me. Silly me. Silly, silly me. Weekend just about over. I'm not ready for the work week. Well, let me just tell you something, Jana. I still got another day because my tomorrow I'm off. It's my weekend. I still got tomorrow. When you guys was teasing me, I was still working, but now I am off. I got another day. Today's my Saturday. Just spinning the block. Okay. Hey, April. Happy Father's Day. So, okay, I'm in my guest room because my wife gave me 30 minutes to myself before going to bed. She just surprised me. She just a surprise for me. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, okay. She got a surprise for you. Okay, okay. Forensic guy. Oh, chow, chow, chow. Got a surprise for Mr. Tech Guy. All righty. Hmm. Too much alcohol. I understand. I understood. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm gonna get myself back on this thing. God, good is God. God is good. That's what you're saying, April. How are you, April? Blame it on alcohol. Alcohol. All right. I'm still waiting for this to boot up. Boot up. Boot. 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 All right. I'm gonna. I gotta woosah for a minute. This is one of those, you got stuff on your mind, you want to release it. I got some stuff on my mind, and I just got to release it. Yes. Why is my video not on? I'm gonna put it on in a minute, April. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to boot up my computer. I'll be on in a minute. Just you'll see my face in a minute, April. Just give me a minute. I'm just trying to boot it up on the computer. Because I'll boot it up. I'll boot it up. This thing ended the wrong way. It unplug. You want to see my face, April? Okay, we'll let you see my face. Hold on. Okay, we go. Hold on, hold on. Ta-da! There go my face, April. But I can't see this. This screen is so small, so I have to go on the because I can't really see. This is really, really, really little, and I don't like that. So I'm squinting. So that's why I don't want to watch myself. So the phone is like really small, and it's too close to my face. So I'm waiting for my computer to boot up. That's why. That's why my video is not on, April. That is why. So how did everybody do today for Father's Day? Did you guys treat the guys right? God gave Me, you. Oh, wow, April, for real? Where are you located, April? This is your first time on here. Where are you located? Where are you? What part of this world are you? Amen. Amen on that. I'm gonna go on the other side. Hold on a second. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna mute here so I can get on the other one. I'm gonna mute for a minute. Hey, lovable Leo. Hold on, I'm gonna mute so I can get on from the other one. Hold on. There I am. Y'all see me now? Much better, right? I unplugged myself like a crazy nut. Oh, man, these things are acting up. This computer's acting up tonight. It's just, hey, Passionate Rose. Hey, Eva. Hey, Cool BJ. Hey, April again. You're in New Mexico? Okay. Welcome, April. Welcome. Clovis, New Mexico. All right. Hey, Shannon, I'm back. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. All right. All right. There's a lot on. I'm just trying to say hey to everybody. Saying hello to everybody. Happy Father's Day to all the men. Hope you guys were treated really good today. Hey, Nakia. Did you get some rest, young lady? Did you get enough rest? Did you get enough rest? What's the special occasion? No special occasion, Jenna. Just put on red lipstick. It's just my lips. No makeup, just my lips. Just the lipstick. Sometimes you just gotta jazz it up a little bit. So, I'm trying to change my image up in the YouTube world, like try to change it up. Check my account to Father's Day. Father's Day. Check your account. What does that mean, April? Check your account. Okay. So, let me put the link in for those. It's 42 people in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. Wash your hands. Yep. Come on now, stop. This thing keep popping up. Stuff keep popping up in my thing. Hold on a second, y'all. Sorry. Nice to meet you. All right. Hey everyone. I just stopped to speak and tell all men happy Father's Day. But I'm going through right now. My first cousin was killed. Oh my God. In a jet accident this morning. Oh, I am so sorry. My condolences to your family. Oh, high maintenance. I'm so sorry. Oh, wow. My condolences. I am so sorry. My prayers go out to your family. I wanted to share something. Wow. My condolences. Mm. I know it's a hard thing. Hey, Reba. Happy Father's Day to all the men, all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Sorry. Oh, man. Tech guy. I know that's right. That's the meal I cook for my husband, but not this year. uh, it's pretty sad. Now. Hold on. Got a call.
Hello?
Hey. Hi, Joe. It's Sylvia.
Hello?
Hey.
Oh, hey, hold on here. I'm not used to this different ways of reaching people anymore. I had people contact me, but not my it was weird. I mean, I haven't seen. I was just about to go on one, but I didn't bother picking up the order, whatever order was entered last time by the judge. So I was just going online right now just to get a copy of it, see what it was. Because judges, you never know what they say happens, what they say they're going to do. But when you got to see the actual order that they entered, because sometimes.
Yeah, I have Paces, and I ordered some transcript, not all, but I should. But this one is closed, Parab.
You can't order transcripts, or
Well,
this particular hearing was closed?
This particular hearing was closed because they didn't allow us. We had to put a code in for us to listen to, and we didn't listen to it. Well, I didn't go unless you was there in person.
Yeah, well, that's possible. I mean, very strange the way they do that. But that can happen. I don't know why they close it. Because I guess they were concerned because perhaps they're starting to figure out Greenberg, and they're trying to finally understand that he's going to say things just to embarrass people, they're trying to protect Farinella and even Nicole Becker because of the things that were being brought up. Nicole, I don't know how. I've never really talked to Nicole, which is, I guess, the right thing for her. I understand that. How long has she been? I know she was initially, when Kelly was first arrested, she was representing him in some civil matters. How old is she? Do you know how old she is? I don't recall seeing her.
I don't know.
It's younger lawyers. They have this thing where they'll talk to witnesses. Which a lawyer, it's okay. Lawyers, you're supposed to talk to or find out what they're going to say. But you really always need to bring what they call a prover with you. That's just like an investigator or a clerk or somebody there who can testify to what's being said. So the person can't later claimed that you were giving them legal advice, things like that. And it's very very important. And you know, you don't catch on to little.
It's Joe Jabrowski is on the call. Joe.
I don't blame her. I just, you know, one of the little tricks of the trade she didn't really know about. So that's the way it goes. So
we were waiting on, you know, the like, because remember you said that you were gonna come back to us and have a discussion regarding to what happened at the Curio
19-286. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let me poke the order right now. I'm on.
All right, he's checking the order, y'all.
I'm gonna see what the order is.
He's checking.
It's takes a little trip to get there. No.
It's Joe Broski, the ex-attorney with Steve. He's doing a part 2 with us. He's checking the order. Hold on.
Oh, Ilana Haramati.
Do you know that attorney?
No, Ilana.
She's the one that they put as a side.
She's the one that got appointed.
Yeah, for just a standby counsel. Standby.
Mm-hmm. Was that standby counsel or counsel to consult with him on the issue of conflict? Because that's what I read. I think I've even seen it on some of them. You know, some things here. Here it is. Order an agreed motion for early return of subpoena.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, finally did that. Wow, how about that? Okay, that's something that should have been done like 2 years ago. There's
Joe, the deadlines for those filings that you said that they could have filed, like dismissal, the deadline is not until like June something. So they still have time.
Yeah, that doesn't look it. But they're filing. There's 2 types of motions to suppress, eliminate. Well, let me tell them this is
They say everybody's saying hi to you on the live.
Hello.
He's saying hello, y'all.
Here. There's first of all, I was just saying that there's a thing called early return of subpoena. So in federal court, they don't. In most state courts, they have what's called this. You can subpoena documents. You know, a defense can subpoena documents and information during the trial. You can have it returnable any day you want. You can have it returnable on any status date. So if you want to get subpoena documents from somebody, the police, or in any event, you can do it. But in federal court, the subpoenas are only supposed to be returnable on the trial date. You're not, unless you get an order entered, which is called an order for early return of subpoena. And usually that's one of the first things you do. I mean, you file that motion routinely, like when you first appear in the case, when you first start the case, because you want to have subpoena power to bring things in.
Okay.
To get documents.
That's just not for people; it's for everything.
Yeah, for documents.
Oh, for documents. Okay.
Yeah, for documents.
Because when I mentioned that to somebody, when I mentioned that on my live one day, that for the stuff, and somebody was like, "No, it's just for people," but it's for documents too.
Oh yeah, it's called subpoena ducis tecum. You can't take depositions in federal court without permission anyway.
Okay.
But you can certainly subpoena. Oh yeah, sometimes that's the most important thing. You want to subpoena the phone records.
Okay.
You want to of somebody that you have a reason to subpoena the phone records.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, if you suspect something funky with money, you can subpoena bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. Really, it's a very powerful tool. That's why you always want to have it. This is why one of the first things that you ask for. I mean, when you first come into the case, one of the motions that I used to immediately file a motion for discovery and a motion for early return of subpoena and a motion for early disclosure of the 3.5 material.
Mm-hmm.
Now, And so finally, here we are, June 16th. They finally get an order for early return of subpoena, and I think. Let me take a look at this.
I noticed something. He never comes after you. He comes after other people.
Oh, Greenberg?
Yeah. And I saw you start. I know you said that was him that with that. What was that person? That
it was a somebody on Twitter.
I
forgot their name because I saw somebody that had just joined.
And it had one follower, and you said, "Hey, Stevie."
Yeah. Yes. He's done that. He's done stuff like that before. Yeah. I go, hey, if you think I'm lying about you, come on, sue me. Anytime. I love to meet you in court, man. I can prove everything I say, everything. So they don't say who asked for this order, but I'm glad he finally got it. So they can get apparently that's somebody's doing something right. So I'll get the last order though.
So, are you gonna go back to practicing law again, or you just decide you're not gonna go ahead?
I don't know. It's a good question. Really is. I've been thinking about it, but tell you the truth, I don't like. Go here. This is the order. It's one page. Appointment. Oh, this is just the appointment. Hold on here.
I pulled a lot of that out already. With that lady.
Okay. Letter. The order one was the letter. Okay. The hearing was on what day? What date was the hearing?
I think it was Thursday.
Yeah.
The 17th, right? Oh, the hearing was on Thursday, right, guys?
Oh, here it is. Look at that. She didn't enter a minute order. At least the minute order isn't minute order held proceed. Okay. The actual minute order isn't on the docket yet. June's okay. So we let me see. CJA. Let me see what this is. Letter motion for carrying a hearing. These are all yeah, that's probably blocked. I'll bet under seal. Yeah, all the letters are under seal. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Letter to they're still on the jury. The stuff about the jury question. Okay. Letter return.
Yeah, it was the 17th on Thursday. The hearing.
They're exchanging all these letters regarding the jury question, which is okay. Response motion for letter motion for okay.
But she did tell Steve that Nicole and Thomas is going to continue with the deadlines and not him.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly how. So yeah, they appointed this Elena Haramati. That's a big firm. That just was a type that usually get. All right, let me see. Minute order for proceedings, even though there's no minute order on it, but that'll probably be tomorrow. Appearances by U.S. Attorney Greenberg, Leonard, Farinella, Nicole Becker. Okay, CGA attorney. That's.
Well, happy Father's Day for your dad.
Oh, I am. I have 4 daughters.
Happy Father's Day.
all grown.
So what did you do today?
Went out. My wife and I went out. She took me out to dinner that I had to pay for. But that was
you had to.
That's my job. Standby. What's this? No, a standby. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Where? Okay, no. Pull this up. I got to. Gotta print the docket because it didn't put the thing on the sheet yet. So now, what was said about?
She did conclude that it was not a conflict of interest with Nicole.
Oh, with Nicole. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That, I mean, if all she did was interact.
With the
Yeah, with witnesses. That's not surprising. Apparently, somebody wrote a letter. Somebody leaked.
You know who did?
Different layers. Yeah, I know. Sure. That's his typical. That's his MO. That's what he does.
Yeah.
That is what he.
Supposedly, that lady Gloria Rodriguez worked with. He knows her, and she submitted the letter.
Yeah, I'm sure he. For sure, it is urging, but it would be consistent with what what he operates. So that does not surprise me the least. And let me see here. I want to make sure I have everything before I close out. I have the pace right. I'll bet you on Monday. Because Friday was a kind of surprise holiday for everybody, so the courts were very confused. Some didn't even know it was a holiday, so they were.
Well, Juneteenth?
Juneteenth. Yeah.
Okay, it became, but I thought it was a federal holiday on Friday for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they just signed it.
The president signed the decree on the day before.
Oh, okay.
And the governor in Illinois did. I don't know, New York also did it. So but they didn't get the notice out to everybody. So half the courts, a lot of the courts were closed. But some were. I know the appellate courts didn't know it because they had issued orders on that day on the appellate courts. So it was all confused. It was very confused. But I'll bet you no docket order was entered, or no more formal docket order, or fuller docket order, because. Because it was on Juneteenth, they didn't, they stopped, or they didn't get it done. They'll get it done. I'll probably get posted tomorrow.
So what is supposed to be getting done tomorrow?
The CJA attorney, when they said standby. You'll probably be the full, like you normally see docket orders. They actually a separate piece of paper to a minute entry. They call minute orders. Just there'll be from something that the judge enters, a little more fuller explanation about what had happened on that day and things that she ordered. So it'll probably be there on Monday. So
it'll be a full explanation what she ordered?
Well, a little more, quite full, but a little better than what we have here. But CJA attorney Haramati present on standby. So what happened there was that she had been already notified to be present because the judge already had made up her mind to some extent that she wanted there to be a third party, an independent lawyer to consult with Kelly on the issue of a conflict of interest, which is fairly standard operating procedure where we have a third party, not or even the client, but a third making an allegation that there's a conflict of interest, a credible one. And so that's she's doing that to preserve the record, and that's probably smart to do. I'll bet you there's a letter going out. Yeah. The letter went out on June 14th. There was a letter for Curcio hearing on the 14th. So that was letters probably to that lady. So she was there.
That's normal practice?
Well, if they have to appoint an attorney to consult with the client or to explain to the client,
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that I don't make any real. All their job is to do is to say, look, here's the potential conflict of interest. if the judge doesn't think it's enough on its face to disqualify this person, but just so you understand it, and it may mean that this person might not be allowed to cross-examine a certain witness or something.
Oh,
So
okay. So she
and
knows.
so it's, and you want to, you can, if you want to proceed with this, you can waive the conflict of interest. If you have a problem with it, you need to say so now or forever hold your peace. You can't complain later on. You got to waive it. So let us, these are your options. What do you want to do? And then Kelly will say what he wants to do, and which I'm assuming is going to be, because Nicole has been with him for so long, is going to be no, Nicole, I'm with. I don't care if she can't cross-examine one or two witnesses. And,
Okay, so she wouldn't be able to cross-examine the witnesses that's supposedly a conflict of interest.
Well, she might not be. She may not. It depends.
Okay.
That'll be decided at the trial. Now, you were talking about the issue with
The two young ladies.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
I mean, one of those, but that the judge found that to be a conflict, and the state, the government. Look at the government. When the government said it didn't have a problem,
Yeah.
the government wasn't doing that because they want to have a conflicted attorney in the case.
Mhm.
They said they believe that there was no conflict in the. So, the government has an interest in making sure that if it gets a guilty verdict, that it's one that's not going to be overturned on appeal.
Got you.
If an attorney has an obvious conflict of interest, or even a probable conflict of interest that was reversible error, that was conflicted them out of the whole case or something, they would say so because they plan on winning, and they want to make sure that their conviction stands up on appeal. They don't want to have the appellate court saying, "Oh no, well, we got to reverse. There was a conflict of interest here." So it's I'm pretty confident that there's no legitimate conflict here.
Okay.
But somebody manufactured the appearance of one. I wonder who.
Your buddy.
Yeah, my buddy.
Your buddy.
My boy.
Your boy. Because all of a sudden this is a conflict of interest, but when he gets fired, okay.
Right. But for what? How long it was? There was no conflict of interest, right? And then you're talking about those issues with the deadline, which is that this that they can the motions for limine. Well, look, that's true, but there's two types of motions in limine.
So you think the trial is still going to move forward in August?
I would, something. It might. So what exactly was set to Green? What did the judge? Because I saw various reporting on that. What was the deal with what the judge said to Greenberg and Leonard?
Well, I wasn't there, but from the sources that I was there, they're basically saying that. Let me just read what it said. Hold on a second, and just read here, and then I'll let you know what it said. Just bear with me a second. Okay, this is what someone that was there. She said, I was at the hearing. It was concluded that Nicole did not give legal advice to Jane Doe number 5. And it was determined that Nicole did not participate on the R-line call, and she did not facilitate any payment to Joycelyn. The government also made it clear on the record that Joy is not part of their case, but she could possibly be a witness for defense. I'm trying to figure out why the media is printing selected information for the hearing. they are printing the question that were asked, but not the resolution. Why aren't they printing what the judge and the prosecutor both agreed that Nicole did not do anything wrong, and they weren't seeking to disqualify her? The issue was resolved, but the matter was continued because the judge want Kelly there in person for conclusion.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of figured. Okay, even though, well, okay, yeah, okay. So this lady, the young lady Alana, is just there to do that advice clearly, to give Kelly face-to-face advice. I don't know why the government is dragging their feet about bringing Kelly over like it's.
Well, they said the attorneys was the one who didn't want to bring him over. They wanted him to stay in Chicago longer.
Yeah, I wonder what attorney those are.
That was, Greenberg was the one that wanted him
Yeah,
to
of
stay.
course, because he has sole control and access. I understand Kelly doesn't want to see him, but he has more. He's potentially have more influence.
Mm.
So yeah, because it's not that hard to move a client. I might move a client.
Hold on. I gotta tell them who's speaking. They're asking who's speaking. This is Joel how do you say your last? Brodsky. Joel Brodsky. Joseph Brodsky. Joel.
Yeah, Joel.
Joel.
Famous, right.
He's the famous.
No, I'm not famous. There was a famous Russian poet named Brodsky, so that's all. But anyway, okay. So here, I want to give you an example about the motions too.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, and so what was told to Greenberg according to the person?
That Nicole and Tom is going to be the one putting in the motions and things like that, not him. The deadlines,
okay.
Everything's going to be done by them.
So he doesn't have to worry about doing them. What else did he tell her? Did he say anything else, or he shouldn't do anything, or did he?
I don't know. I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, what they were saying. I think that people are probably complaining that Greenberg was, vetoing motions that they wanted to file.
Yeah.
And they just said that, or wasn't approving motions that they wanted to file. So that's probably how that came up. But yeah, I mean, they were told basically you're not in charge anymore, but I think that what she's probably doing is she doesn't want to terminate the lawyers until Kelly's in court, and Kelly, tells her face to face, tells her person to person
Okay.
That's what he wants. I mean, which is very overly cautious. That's not necessary. I mean, Greenberg and Leonard acknowledge it. They got a notice, email or notice from him that they've been terminated. But perhaps because he can't read or he can't write, maybe that's why she's concerned. So
she's thinking somebody else did it.
Well, now she thinks that she's, if somebody else is writing something, it might not convey what you mean. So she wants to make sure in person.
Okay.
It's being overly cautious. Okay. But it's really not. But I mean, she's the judge, so what you're gonna do? Let me see. Here. I'm gonna give you an example regarding these motions. Okay. I'm just kind of looking. I'm using the Peterson case as kind of an example. Okay. Because it has a lot of it's as big a case as Kelly's. So not because of anything particular about the case, but because it was a very high profile case. So all right. So for example, we would do and this is just a trial. So hearsay. Okay, that's the hearsay here. Okay. Trial transcript. So go. Let me see. The trial took place in August of 2012. Okay. So these motions. Okay. We did motions. motion for hearing under a lot of video motion regarding Michael Baden, motion regarding motion eliminated regarding Susan Doman was a witness, and that was filed in.
There's a question out that Joe. They asked
Sure.
if Ms. Becker is not allowed to cross-examine certain witness, can Fernelli cross-examine those same witnesses?
Of course.
Yeah.
But she'll. I think she'll probably be able to.
Okay.
To do it anyway.
Hey, Lottie.
So, yeah, I mean, for example, regarding certain witnesses, we were filing motions to exclude witnesses back in 2010. The trial didn't go to August 2012.
So you guys were doing it like 2 years ahead. So
yeah, motion one, what's one motion, two motions, motion to exclude lockpick evidence that we filed in. That was in 2010. Motion eliminated regarding other crimes evidence. That was in which should have been filed already. That was in 2010. Late 2010, regarding some hearsay witness. There's what they call testimonial, non-testimonial hearsay. Motion disclose expert compensation. Motion, I guess, motion regarding the videos would be important in Kelly's case because videos have to be, as I've said, have to be very authenticated. Okay. Especially nowadays. This is 2010, so what the technology to modify videos back then wasn't near what it is today.
So they can file for the video not to be.
Well, they can, but there's no. Yeah, but there's, if you're going to go to trial in August, there's no time to do all this. We were at it for like I said, motion to quash search warrant, motion to dismiss account. Motion to quash search warrants, objection to supplement response to ID hearsay. Let me remember what that is. Motion to suppress crime scene record reconstruction expert.
So you guys got a lot of motions thrown out. I mean, a lot of things, stuff thrown out when you did all those motions?
Some of it, for example, they didn't get to put in the crime scene reconstruction expert.
Okay.
Spelled reconstruction.
I got a question.
So that was actually really important. That was very important. Motion to suppress false alibi motion, evidence. These were all, this one, all filed as one. So we were, and then those aren't the ones at trial. Mm-hmm. These were filed in 2012. Okay. Motion to compel Biden to talk to us first. Motion to exclude Kathy Sabio fear statements. Mm. Because you have to have a hearing on all these. And then in 2012, okay, so those are motions were filed. We had hearings.
Okay, so when you file a motion, there has to be a hearing after the motion to see the judge's decision, right? So with it being like almost less than 60 days of this case, there's not a possible way for all those hearings to be set for.
I mean, unless the judge wants to just do pretrial motions on this case. For 2 months until the trial starts. No, there's simply not enough time. I'm coming here. Look, I'm looking now. Then let me see when we filed these.
You know what I want to ask you, Joel?
Sure.
In regards to, for example, one of the things that they were saying is that the bribery to bribe supposedly somebody at work at the state's office where an ID was purchased for Aaliyah's date of birth or whatever. Why isn't that person being charged? Because they work for the state and they were supposedly bribed. Don't both?
There might be a statute of limitations.
So if it's statute of limitation for them to be done, why are they putting it in this case?
Well, that's a good question, and a motion should be filed challenging that. For example, and we did. I'm just looking at now. Starting the trial was in August, so starting in looking for how quickly we. Then
So
we had
those motions should have
that
been done back then when they first put that inside the case then.
Oh, hell yeah.
But they didn't. Oh, wow.
And then March and then starting like 5 months before the trial. These are like examples of motions that we filed. Motion to bar innuendo evidence argument. Motion to bar Shorey credibility argument. Motion, that was one of the witnesses that was a preacher, and we didn't want them, this was in the rural county, so we don't want anybody trying to say, hey, this guy is a preacher. He ain't going to lie, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want that to come in. Mm-hmm. Motion to bar certain evidence by missing wife, Stacy. Use of attorney-client, motion to bar use of attorney-client privilege evidence. Motion to bar Susan Dolman evidence. Motion to bar state from attacking final divorce judgment. Motion to bar certain hearsay. Motion, that's a Kathy Savio. Motion to bar all statements of Kathy Savio. Motions regard to bar blue towel evidence, that they were saying this blue towel that was in, they were making assumptions that this was a important piece of evidence, and it didn't prove anything. So we made a motion to bar.
Okay, all those motions that you're saying now was done way ahead of time. All those motions. Okay.
Months and months and months. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, we were basically done with our pre-trial motions.
So that means they didn't do anything.
June. A lot of them were done a year before. But,
wow.
And then the year we had the trial, obviously as you get closer to trial, you're filing more motions, but you're finding more stuff up. But we were done.
Okay, so you're saying, okay.
We had to prepare for trial. Because how do you know what prepare for the examination of the witness or cross of the witness if you don't know what they can say and what they can't say? So you gotta have this stuff thing. I'm looking here. I don't remember motion to bar testimony of King Nasakian, and motion to bar testimony of Michael Miles, motion to bar of Susan McCauley, motion to bar unreliable hearsay evidence, motion to motion to limit an opening statement, motion to compel exact hearsay, motion to prohibit expert witness of Andrea's. They came up with some bullshit expert at the last minute because they were getting. We found to bar her. This is what you do when you're trying to especially a real serious case with 80. The state put on 80 witnesses. You challenge every single piece of evidence. You challenge every witness, and if you don't, in order to do that, and then even if you know the witness is not going to be totally barred or you can't bar, you do that to you cut down exactly what they can testify to and what they can't, so you don't have any surprise. You have to limit the amount of surprises. That's what you.
So 2 years, this man has been the attorney. He has not filed any of these things that he should have filed.
Absolutely, I'm looking. I'm telling you, we have at least 50 pre-trial motions that were filed challenging various witnesses, various testimonies, various evidence.
But he hasn't challenged anybody.
That's right. You challenge every witness. You don't have to just exclude them. You also just want to say, okay, they can testify, but they can't testify. They can't. In other words, like the preacher, right? Mm-hmm. You know that the state's going to say, hey, he's a preacher, or try to, or call him pastor during the entire examination. Every question is, well, pastor, what about this? Yeah, pastor, what about this? Right? To highlight that he's a pastor, and in a rural community, there's going to be a man who's going to be believed. He's going to have extra credibility. You want to stuff that out at the beginning. You don't want them. You just want to call him Mr. Shorey, not Mr. Shorey. You don't want them just so they can't heighten his credibility. So you want to make sure you file a motion to stop them from doing that. Things. When you want. And that's smart lawyering. That's how you prepare for a trial. That's why you challenge witnesses.
So, but now he's really way behind the eight ball because he hadn't challenged anybody. Even the statement that Demetrius gave as far as the bribery and the Leah situation and.
The Leah situation is particularly troubling because there was a trial on that already.
But the thing is, they never brought that up at all. Aaliyah's deceased.
Oh, not the Aaliyah. No, it was a trial on
the other one. Yeah.
But the Aaliyah was so long ago. I mean, you really would have want to file a lot of motions on that because, I mean, there's a lot going on with those witnesses. For example, the witness. You're right. The witness who was, supposedly provided the fake ID, or the witness that registered, gave the marriage license, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that type of stuff. The validity of the record. In effect, you want to look at everything. And you want to challenge that. But these people now have a interest in trying to make themselves look really good. So that they, especially the person who took a bribe to issue a fake ID.
That was Demetrius, and he's the liar. He's the thief. He's everything. He told them different stories.
Right. So you want to, rather than put him on the stand and then discredit him, I'd rather have him excluded.
Exactly.
So you want to say, hey, there's something that, the government is not allowed, the due process is not allowed to put on a witness that is inherently unreliable. They cannot put on somebody they know whose word, that is a testimony is unreliable, is inherently unreliable. So too unreliable to testify. They put on, right? That's the standard. So you have a guy like that, you certainly want to challenge, hey, you're going to let this con man testify?
A con man, exactly.
And so the judge might not exclude him, especially if he's really important to the government's case, but she may limit what he can say and how he can say it in order that, and have, all right, and not allow, and maybe even allow the jury not to argue, not that the government, that they can't argue to the jury that this man's uncorroborated evidence should be accepted. Without the government always says, well, criminals don't hang around with priests. They say priests and with nuns and and saints. They always hang around with criminals. So you can believe that this guy's testimony. They can't say things that heighten his credibility. They can't make arguments that heighten his credibility, to promote his credibility. The judge may say that. They have a lot of discretion what they can do with evidence. So with judges, they have a lot of discretion how they can limit evidence. So it's really, that type of stuff absolutely 100% should have been filed.
Okay.
And it wasn't, and there's not, and I can tell you, there is not enough time to deal with maybe there's enough time to deal with some of the issues.
But not all of them.
Maybe the major issues, and maybe not even all the major issues. But
okay.
Certainly there's enough time, there's not enough time to do, you're going to get maybe 10% of the issues.
Okay. There's a question about, they said that, do you think that Steve's tactic for not filing motion has a tactic for not filing a motion, or is he just lazy?
That's a really good question. I think it's both. We had problems with him not being prepared, so not preparing. He, like I told you, he's you gotta remember, you gotta understand his personality. He's like I said, a pathological narcissist. When he closes his eyes, he actually believes. He believes that he can just step up there with very little preparation or almost no preparation and just go ask a few questions and win the case because he's such a wonderful, fantastic, unbelievable lawyer, which is horseshit because even guys like didn't name any of the greatest. Jens was a great lawyer. You got some guys in New York. The one guy that would always, I forgot his name. He had a ponytail. Would always give the government a hard time. Kunkel, I think. And anyway, he would. You ask these guys how they won their cases and what was the most important thing to do, and they would tell you 100% preparation. Yeah, those are the three most important things. So, but that's that's clearly he lack of prep. That just his laziness is a product of his over preparation. Then he was also getting drunk every night, which was not good. And then the other thing was his, at least during I'm not seeing, I don't know if he's drinking now because I haven't come across him in years. But back then during the Peterson trial, he certainly was. And then also there's the issue of tactics. Yeah, I think, not allowing other people to file motions and doing things that keep Kelly kind of close to him made sure that he could be in control, which is of the case, and he would be able to manipulate it to be the.
So basically, he was trying to get him to.
So yeah.
He was basically trying to get him to take a plea then, so it could be easy for him.
I don't think he would not take a plea. No, he wanted a plea. He wanted a trial.
He wants a trial?
Yeah, he doesn't care if he loses. That's the least of his concerns.
Oh.
He wants to be center of attention.
Oh.
He doesn't. He's not preparing. I mean, that's secondary to him being the center of attention and being in control. He wants a trial so he can be center of attention, so he can have a news conference every day and issue and make certain, and after every lunchtime and then every after court every day, he can stand in front of a bunch of microphones and give some, quick, clip that'll be played on all the media stations that evening, and then he'll get invited on this television program and that television program, and one time during the Peters, it was something with Judge Judy or not Judge Judy, one of the Piero was covering it, and they were going to fly him to New York, and he did this behind everybody's back and just appear on her show and talk about the case. And I told him, I said, no, you don't make media decisions. We had to hire the media guy to deal with that. And so we actually had
So do you?
And we had to stop him from doing that. And then we did that. Oh, he was so upset.
Yeah.
But we were like, Steve, media is great. If you want to get attention, fine. That's why you're doing a high-profile case. That's good. But the case comes first. Media is second. It was.
Got another question for you to have. They said, do you think the judge is going to keep Greenberg on the case?
No, I think that look, I promise you that for the last couple of last weeks, he's been trying to get through to Kelly over at the in Chicago jail, Metropolitan Correctional Center, sending messages to him, having people having other inmates take messages to him, that he wants to talk to him, so he can convince Kelly to keep him.
So do you think he'll get his letters if we write to him and tell him?
Who, Kelly?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're restricting his mail or not, or how many letters he's allowed to get a day. They sometimes they have no restrictions. But yeah, we can try. But look, that's what he's trying to do. No, if Kelly is also, I know, in some sort of communications with Nicole, with Farinella and Nicole, they have email access and things, and so if he stands strong, and tells the judge that he still wants Greenberg gone. Then Greenberg will be gone. I wish she would just knocked him off the case already, because it would make things a lot simpler. He's going to use this as an opportunity to confuse things. And then, like you said, I didn't realize what your last statement, that he's trying to, prevent Kelly from being moved to Chicago, moved to New York for the site of the trial.
Yeah, that was
What the
what
hell
was
is
said in that was what was said at the hearing before this last one. That
I mean, look at the government. I've seen them do it more times than they can count. It's easy. They move people all the time, every day.
Okay, the
So,
other somebody else has a question that says here, could the defense have subpoenaed the minister who did the supposedly did the marriage between Aaliyah and Kelly?
Or subpoena him to come into the trial?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they want, yeah, sure. In order to, I don't know where that person is. Are they in New York?
No, Chicago.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then what you have to do is to get an out-of-state. So there's a procedure they have to go through. But the short answer is yes, they can. They have to file a proceeding in Chicago with the federal court here. It's called a collateral or auxiliary proceeding. They have a subpoena issued from the court here, and then you get subpoenaed here. And then in order to have them go out of state, they will then, they have to pay his airfare and they have to pay his hotel. And if he's indigent, then, the government could be required to pay for that. But it can be done. Yes, it can be done. It's important. So, yeah, it can be done. Or
the government supposedly has over 50 witnesses. They supposedly have over 50 witnesses. They're going to pay for all of them to come?
Who?
The government.
The government? Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, they pay for all 50 of them?
The government?
Yeah.
This is the United States government. They can, yeah, hell yeah. It's nothing to them. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
They have unlimited resources. I mean, this is the government. They literally print their own money. They can do whatever they want. They can do that, sure. They could charter a plane. They could do whatever they want. The defense is the one that gets limited. So they will bring everybody. You got to be kidding me. They will bring everybody. 50 witnesses. And not one motion to bar a witness or limit a witness yet.
No, not one motion.
Whoa.
Not one.
See, that's why last time when I talked to you, I literally said I fell off my chair when I looked at that docket and didn't see the motions. This is why. There was so much should have been done.
Somebody just asked if there was another attorney, would Robert have a bond? Mr. Kelly have a bond already?
I don't know. I mean, I would have approached the bond. With me, and this is always second guessing because there is a lot of pressure being brought to bear that he not get a bond. Not just because he can flee. But potentially, but because of the nature of the offense, what he's accused of, which is intimidating other witnesses, are trying to influence other witnesses, are paying off with.
Because that's what he's being accused.
But there's ways to get around that. You make a man like they did with put him on home confinement, don't let him have any visitors, make him pay for his own security, have him on the electronic monitoring and GPS, and then that is, the security guards are the ones, the private security is the ones that are chosen by the government, not by him, right? So, don't have no telephone calls, you can limit nowadays, you can put if you want to limit somebody from calling out of an area, out of a home, you can just put cell phone blocker.
Yeah, you can put blockers on them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can't use it. So they can put a cell phone blocker in this place, so he can't even use a cell phone if somebody smuggles one to him. That's like they have to install cameras for every room but the bathroom, so there's no sometimes even in the bathroom, but only up to a certain level. So he can't and you do that, and yeah. So I mean, he had the capability. That's how I would have approached it, because hey, saying, coming in and filing a motion saying, hey, it's horrible in jail. It is. It's jail, and it's and he can't even speak to his girl. He can't have any contact or speak to more than one girlfriend at a time. Is not the way to approach it.
No, it's not.
So, but that's almost a motion that you're bound to do. So, it's and so, and then Kelly's to his own extent a scary. He didn't do himself any good with that way he acted in that the one interview he gave.
Okay, somebody asked a question. It says, if Nicole ends up taking the case to trial, can she bring up the fact that the previous lawyer didn't present the motion, and at that time?
Well, she should ask for it. That would be grounds for a continuance.
Oh, okay.
And then it would be Nicole and Tom. Fair enough. I mean, they're both, hard working. So,
Okay.
So yeah, they would have to ask for a continuance and say that we were, present the story. I mean, how they were prevented from filing motions that they were ready to file, and that this prejudices the client, and that there was no good reason for Greenberg doing this. It was actually against the wishes of the client. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They might be able to. You have to. For two reasons, you want to say all that. One is actually to get the continuance so you can bring all these motions. Second reason you want to do it is you want to make sure you preserve all these issues for appeal. Mm-hmm. If you don't object, in other words, if you don't file a motion or make an objection on the record, written, oral is great, but certainly in writing you can do it orally, but always best to do it in writing. Then you can't bring it up on appeal. So you want to make sure that all this is set out in the record and that you ask for a continuance, so that if he's convicted, you can raise that issue on appeal and say, well, the reason we lost was, because of all this horseshit that Greenberg did. Mm-hmm. And, his ulterior motives for doing it, which had nothing to do with winning the case. And this is something he does historically. And, you put all that in the motion and preserve the issue so that an appellate court, can reverse. And if it wants to, but at least, preserve it. But that's so, yeah. But you can't bring it up at the trial as like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, jury, we did a shitty job because the prior lawyer was an idiot. You can't make that argument.
Okay.
You don't. Yeah, but you have to do it. You have to get a continuance, and you have to make, or at least.
So, do you think that the judge would allow a continuance with all? I mean, because she was adamant about they're not gonna.
Well, she'd only give one if she has to, and if she believes that not giving the continuance would be potentially you'd be criticized or reversed for doing that, then she'll give a continuance, but it won't be a long one, and the lawyers are going to have to, she'll give them, you got an extra 3 weeks file motion. We're going to start having hearings on, in 3.5 weeks, and I've cleaned up. I've got a week.
So do you think he should travel to New York instead of staying here in Chicago? I mean, staying here in Chicago? It's better for him.
Get him out of Chicago. This case is in New York. He needs to be near his lawyers.
Okay.
I mean, hell yeah, he ought to be in New York. Should have been in New York a while ago. He should have been in New York months ago. Because
they were saying that New York was not a good idea for him to be in New York, so that's not correct.
Well, what reason? What was the reason? Okay, why was it a good idea?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Greenberg was saying that. Yeah. Okay. He was saying that because he wanted to have Kelly under his thumb.
Because I wonder, that was one of the things that the appellate court was asking Farinelli about when he was back in September last year. He was asking him why was he in Chicago or not? Because they were saying that they didn't have access to him to be able to see him because of COVID. And where New York was allowing a lot of their inmates to have like different privileges, like Giselle Maxwell, she gets to have her computer in her cell, and she gets to have all her documents, to review her documents on a continuous basis, where Mr. Kelly was not able to do anything. He didn't even get a chance to see his attorney.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. The appellate court, you know, I'm glad the appellate court judge agrees with me. It gives me some confidence that they're, appointing intelligent people, at least occasionally, to the appellate court. It was a really good question.
Okay, the other question, they said, can Lifetime producers be subpoenaed for the violation of Kelly's privacy and lack thereof? Okay, he said yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there was that documentary is the genesis of the charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was really, all of a sudden that documentary comes out, and that a lot of state attorneys got, preview of that. They saw it months before it actually was aired. That's typical. They do it that way to juice up, because there's nothing like having a movie come out and then next day or two they have indictments issued, because you can then sit there and beat your chest, say, watch this movie, it resulted in the indictments. I'm a hero. So read my book. Put me on your speaking tour.
But remember, Kim Fox went and did a call for victims.
I know Kim.
Yeah.
I know Kim. I'm good friends with the guy that employed her before, was her boss before she ran for state's attorney, and the firm that she was with. So, I know Kim, sure. Sure, her office got previews, and that's why they said, "Oh, let's indict this. God damn, look at this. We can make." So, it happened in Cook County. She was probably pissed at that, that they were able to get that fake marriage in Cook County. And, then they went and saw how many deaths, how many people were involved in fatal accidents. A lot of people got killed. And so they really cracked down on those. And so they take that stuff pretty seriously. So Kim Fox, I'm sure, wasn't happy when she saw that in the movie. But look, when you have a movie that's the genesis of the indictment,
mm-hmm.
If you don't subpoena that producer for every bit of film that they have, and they're going to object, and it's going to be a fight, because they're going to claim, reporter's privilege, but they're not reporters. They did it for a profit. It's a documentary, but you're going to get something. You're going to get all of it. You're going to get half of it. You're going to get, the judge will appoint somebody to go through the stuff to see what's relevant and what's not, or what's privileged and what's not. But you got to, not to try to get it is insane.
Yeah,
it's beyond it's absolutely insane, because they could have stuff in their notes, scripts. How would you like to find the script, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where these people who they have they have giving statements. I don't know if these scripts exist or not. I have no idea. But if you can find a script of one of these accusers written by the documentary maker, how would you like to in court hold up that script and say, "Oh, you gave that statement. Well, here's the script written for you by the documentary filmmaker, telling you what to say." So those weren't, I don't know if that exists, but if it did, because I'm in the middle of trying to make a documentary right now with a producer out in Hollywood, and so some stuff is scripted in those documentaries. It's not all.
It's a lot of it's scripted because they got to make it juicy.
Well, I don't know. I know that some parts, certainly the narrators are scripted. Right. So the people who are giving statements, I don't know. But it's certainly edited.
Definitely.
So you want to get the unedited parts, and or at least try to get them. So this is not to even try to get that is insane. And the order that was entered for your ability to issue a subpoena for that was just entered a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
It is the incompetence, the negligence, the malpractice. It's incomprehensible. You think you'd see that if a public defender handling, an aggravated assault case in some small county, this was the type you wouldn't. That's would be this lax. Major case that's going to be a major media case of a guy that's known worldwide, for a sex crime. So it's you have celebrity, you have sex, you have music, you have everything in this case. So not to do these basic things is just incomprehensible. I keep looking at it from the point of view of fair trial. Like I said, I don't know what he did or didn't do.
Yeah, he has to have a fair trial.
Yeah,
due process.
Right. That's all. I'm just thinking from that point of view, and I'm thinking, you have the government, guys that win 95+% of their cases coming at this, like a freight train rolling down the track, and you're not doing anything to get out of the way of that freight train. Like, goddamn, it's horrible. It's horrible. This man will, if he's convicted, he's going to die in jail. It's a serious thing. So, what do when you hand up like some third grade PD, it's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
Not Tom or Nicole, but Greenberg. Like I said, what I've been told, by a very reliable person, is that he was vetoing and preventing a lot of motions that these guys wanted to file.
Why do you think so? Why do you think he was?
Because he wants to maintain control. Because he wanted to maintain control. That's what it was all about.
But that's playing with the man's life. I mean, just because you want control.
He doesn't care. Look, did you see? I posted. I tweeted out. I don't know. I don't do Facebook anymore. Anyway, Zuckerberg's had enough money. The decision in the Peterson habeas that came out a couple days ago.
Oh yeah. I saw the tweet. I saw your tweet on that one.
Well, read that opinion.
Okay.
It's 21 pages, but it's very interesting. Basically, the judge just like body slams every single argument that he made, and said, basically, not only is you raise allegedly ineffective assistance, but hey, the appellate court, the trial court, the appellate court, and the Supreme Court of Illinois have all said that this was the right, that your allegations, are baseless. And you know what? And I'm going to say it again. It is baseless because we went through everything. It was reasonable. What you're saying was wrong. It actually could easily been the right move to make. So, it's baseless. And then it went through his other stupid arguments and just tore him to shreds. And said that and then wouldn't even allow him to appeal it. Usually the judge will say, okay, this is my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, you can appeal it. But he wouldn't even allow him to appeal it, saying, it's not even a close case. But he filed that thing and let he had told Peterson, "Oh, I'm going to get you out. The federal courts, the state courts, all prejudiced. We'll get you out. Don't worry, stay with me." And then he makes these weak-ass arguments that the judge brushes aside, like that's ridiculous.
So he's trying to do Peterson's case now?
What?
He's trying to do Peterson's case now?
Well, he was doing the habeas. The way it works is you lose a trial, you go to the appellate court. You lose the appellate court, you ask the Supreme Court. You lose at the Supreme Court, then you can go over to the federal courts and say, hey, there was a substantial blatant constitutional violation in this case. Or, you overturn the verdict based on that. And so that's kind of your last chance Hail Mary shot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did that. But, all this time I know he's telling Peterson, because he's telling him that this is going to get him out. Just, stick with me. And the reason he did that, so he could still claim to be the lawyer for Peterson, so he could be, say, put him on his, list of cases, so he could blame other people for the loss, even though he, it's, that's just, what he is. It's about him being, look, it's all about him being a center of attention. That's all he wants. He could care less about he doesn't care what happens to the client, because when he closes his eyes, the client and the rest of the world disappears, because it's all about him. This is what he is. And, that's the nature. Otherwise, why lie to the client? Why not tell the client the truth? Give an honest assessment.
Yeah.
Why try blocking out other lawyers who are trying to do nothing but help?
Yeah.
They're not. You think Tom and Nicole are trying to sabotage the case or do something wrong?
No, they're trying to help. They're trying to help.
Right? Why are you sabotaging people trying to help? Right? I mean, just I think the actions speak louder than the words. And
so he's still trying to stay on, even though he said that he's pulling away. He's really trying to stay on.
Yeah, I guarantee you, he's trying to stay on 100%. The quicker they get Kelly out of there and to New York, the better. I don't see what the delay is. I really don't. If the judge specifically instructed the marshal to bring him there.
Yeah, I think they are going to transfer him over there now.
Well, when's the next hearing date, though?
I'm not too sure.
You see, that's what they're going to wait till he gets to New York before they set a hearing date. So the problem is that I don't know if he's I don't know what interference there is, but I've seen them transfer people, interstate in less than 24 hours when they want to. If the U.S. attorney picks up the phone and says, "I need somebody here tomorrow," they'll have them there. They got a whole fleet of airplanes to do that.
That's true. They do have those airplanes.
Yeah, they can do it easy. They'll put them in the back. They'll put them in a back of a car and drive them there. Whatever needs to be done, they'll do it.
Yeah.
So where's he going? So it's going to be, and they have to get him there. I don't. Maybe he doesn't want to go to the MCC in New York because there's all those rumors about how horrible it is over there. It's supposed to be a pretty bad jail.
Mm-hmm.
But but there's no such thing as a nice jail. Mm-hmm. And at least he'll have access. Have access to the lawyers. He'll be able to be brought into court. So things will, when you're personally present in court, a lot more can get done. And your personal access to the lawyers, a lot more can get done. It's just crazy not to have them there for a while ago. But I got to tell you a story about. All right, we had, like I told you, for the trial, we got this media guy, Ron Sullivan, to come in and help us because there was a lot of media. And to help us handle it. The idea was, the instruction was, all media go through him. right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so Greenberg comes up to me and says, look at my daughter. She's 18 years old. She's graduating. She wants to go into journalism. Okay. And Glenn, the guy we hired, was a former anchor down in Tampa, St. Pete, which is it's like the fourth or fifth largest media market in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the anchor for the biggest news channel there, our biggest news program there for many years. So he knew the business. So what an opportunity for her. Let her work under him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and I said, okay, I'm going to be a nice guy. Guy wants to help his daughter to get some experience and work with somebody who's top notch. Why should I say no, right? So I said, yeah, fine. Glenn will be happy to have the help. And so he went in there. Next thing I know is she's intercepting media messages. If they were for Glenn, there was supposed to be something on. She was intercepting them and arranging for her dad to go on media. Kind of shortcutting him and undercutting him.
Mm-hmm.
That was his scam all along. He wanted to try to undercut Selig so we wouldn't limit his access to the media. He went and used his own daughter, who, by the way, didn't go into journalism.
Okay.
That was all lie too.
Oh wow.
It was. That's the type of person you're dealing. That's the type of scheming. That's the level of scheming they'll go to, in order to try to, maintain his access to getting his face on TV and his name in the paper. He loved it. You want to know why? People thought that Kelly was released last time this thing came up, because the picture that kept coming up was when Greenberg and Kelly were walking out of the
okay.
jail, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that? All that starts with is one reporter, right? Usually it's AP, or I don't know if it was AP in this case, but a Tribune, or sometimes one of the local papers.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else picks it up. Usually the same photo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's not believe me, that was no mistake. He does that because he loves that picture of him walking Kelly out of jail.
Wow.
He loves that picture. So he wants everybody to see, I walked him out of jail. Even though the guy's locked up the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
He probably, I don't know, I would guess, I don't know, but I would guess that, that was, he was the one that probably may have provided it to them, or, encouraged them, or had a guy that he had leaked something to use that picture as a favor, and it took off. And now they're not using it anymore because it caused that stir. But that's what that's what he wants. He's always looking about what's going to give him the most and best exposure. But enough about Greenberg. I mean, I'm really kind of upset because how the hell is a man going to get a fair trial? 50 witnesses. I'm going to guarantee you there are tens of thousands of pages of evidence.
Yeah, this is a lot of pages. Yeah.
Okay. Everything. How are you going to go through that and start challenging and whittling away at that stuff in less than 60 days? It's not possible. It's simply not possible.
And then the government held stuff and not give it to them too, like the evidence. It held it.
That's the statements, the grand jury statements, and the there was the grand jury statements and statements of certain witnesses that they have. Which everybody think, but that's why you do that motion for early disclosure. If you had made a motion for early disclosure of that material a year ago, the same time you should have been asking for early return of subpoena. Generally speaking, they grant those motions. The government may bitch and moan and want to, and say.
So why didn't they ask for it in the beginning instead of just now?
Because they should. It's the same reason. It's the same reason they do anything. I mean, the government was worrying about, well, if we identify these witnesses, he's going to intimidate them or go at them. But that's illegal. Somebody going to jail for doing that or allegedly doing that. Mm-hmm. But it's. it should have been done. You probably, even if you didn't get all of it, you would have gotten a lot of it, and maybe the ones that they would have withheld the names on a few of them, but you know who they are by looking at it. You can pretty much guess, and it's not like and then you make it attorney's eyes only, but they, of course, they know about Greenberg leaking stuff before, so they were probably not so happy about that. But there's ways of preventing that too. You can have the lawyers actually come and to read it and make notes in the state's attorney's in the U.S. attorney's office, not be allowed to take it out, which is good, good enough. There's ways to deal with it, for the stuff that they can't give you anyway. And then a year ago, you would have had 90% of it or more, and you would have been able to start challenging stuff.
Yeah.
But now waiting until a couple of weeks, this point, forget it. For February.
Wow.
There's no way you can compare that to all the prior statements, cross-reference, and then make motions saying, well, she's got two conflicting statements here. She's not reliable. Keep her out. We got to know which story she's going to say on the stand. We can't guess. All this stuff. It's all that sort of stuff that needs to be done, and there wasn't. And that's what really is disturbing is that all these high-profile cases are, the government tries twice as hard, so you got to fight twice as hard back. And it's a pity. It really is a pity. I mean, his case, just put it this way. Like I said, I don't know. A lot of strange things are being said, right?
Mm-hmm.
But about Kelly. But I certainly know that people love saying strange things about celebrities.
Yeah, a lot of things that they say is lies. They just like to make it up.
Yeah.
Like they make it up because they try to act like these people are super human beings.
Or not, or just they just do. I mean, they make up all this garbage.
All kind of garbage.
So you got to be really careful about that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But even beyond that,
but some things are common sense. Some of the stuff that was being said is common sense. Come on now.
Well, I tell you something. I could tell you, my wife and we have 4 daughters. We're all grown now. I think the youngest is 30, but all good kids. No, I never had no drugs, no pregnancies. 3 of them already even have, only one is married so far. The other 3 are working on their careers. And I'll get if they get married, something. I don't whatever, as long as they're happy, right?
Yeah.
They're just good kids. Right?
Yeah.
But she's like the mother of 4 daughters, and I asked, what does she think about the R. Kelly case? And she tells me, she goes, well, I can tell you something. No woman gets in a situation, gets involved with a man unless she wants to.
Your daughters are smart women.
Yeah, so and that's what
But
a mother of 4.
But the other thing too, Joel. Let me.
But that's it. I don't know. Like I said, I know there's this allure of celebrity that
Joel,
I don't know.
Joel,
I don't know.
Let me tell you something too. There's a documentary that was done where the daughter, the one supposedly held hostage, she's on that documentary and she's saying to her own father that you knew where I was at all the time. You knew. And then you see a video with the mother and the daughter on stage at his concert.
Yeah, I'm sure. I remember that during the 2008 case, I forget when that trial was tried. I was doing another trial on that. I forgot what the name of it was. That had some media, because I remember seeing Sam Adams and Ed Jensen going in on the courthouse. But in any event, it was always, I mean, there was, I think they talked about, okay, when it came down to it, they put those parents on when the girl that was supposedly the victim back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they put the mother and father on the stand and say, "You see this video of this girl getting pissed and whatever. And yeah, is that your daughter? I can't tell. Don't look like her. Now you gotta tell me somebody doesn't know if they have a picture of their daughter or not. Of course, but they, I'm sure that there was some deal made, and so they got paid off, and and now it's coming out that they were, but so that.
But it's alleged.
Alleged what?
There was alleged
that they were paid off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay,
well, but it's no gun, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I was always really suspicious of that, and,
But I'm saying, if you say that wasn't your daughter before, and all of a sudden now you're saying it's your daughter, which one is it? Was it lies then or lies now?
Right. I mean, it was all, it was pretty. To me, it was like, oh, come on, man, I mean, and a jury's going to say, a jury's going to likely say, well, the parents can't ID the kid, the fuck,
But the parents said it wasn't her.
Right, and if the parents can't ID somebody in the video, then I guess there's a reasonable doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't blame the jury for coming back not guilty on that. There's nothing nefarious about that.
Okay.
Now, why the parents said that? That's it. That would be interesting to know. But are they taking any? There's ways to find out. I know how to track assets out of the country if I need to. I know what the bank account. I know what the banks are in the Jersey Islands and the bank accounts in Luxembourg and in Switzerland isn't so much anymore, but certainly Luxembourg and now they have them in banks in Asia. These and in Belize and Panama. There's.
Okay, there's a question.
It's not hard.
There's a question that says, why and how is the new attorney supposed to be able to defend this case then?
It's going to have a lot of time, right? It's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, but it's going to be difficult. They're going to have to get lucky. I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really difficult. The groundwork has not been done. It's going to be difficult. It really is. And there's still confusion on the defense team. I mean, because Greenberg and Leonard are still technically in the case. So it's extreme. It's going to be difficult. I mean, having personally done cases of that magnitude, not just one, several.
So when you guys was doing cases of that big case, the Peterson case, did you?
I did Rialmo, and then I did Gibson. So those are the three biggest ones.
So
that were they're. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the question is, okay, as far as your preparation for your case and your trial, did you not have investigators and all kinds of people going out to do investigation stuff like that in your case? Where, huh?
In Peterson, we didn't really need that much because the state really did it for us. I mean, they inducted everybody and their grandmother before the grand jury, so we had pretty much statements from everybody. But in Rialmo, I had a retired Chicago head of the homicide division, former retired head of the homicide department as the investigator. He went out. That's why we won that case, because of him. He knew a crime scene better than anybody in the world. He knew a crime scene, and he was able to just point out things, and which way we won. In Gibson, I had an in-house investigator because big problem there was talking. The witnesses were all cops. I mean, it was like all former retired detectives who are not exactly the easiest guys in the world to interrogate or cross-examine. We went to their pension boards and got information on where they were. They were really pissed off that we tracked them down. And you know.
But
That's,
okay, why is it now like they're using stuff like bloggers and things like that? Social media is to put as if it's part of the intimidation of witnesses, which bloggers ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's still free. If it, I mean, look at, person's entitled to a public trial in America. That means that all the parts, in England, for example, there's no pretrial publicity at all. The trial's open to the public, but no pre-trial. There's a law, no pretrial publicity. Period. Now I know that in Kelly's 2000 and the 2008 case was tried in 2010, I think. Anyway, there was the judge in that case issued a very sweeping order, limiting, a gag order on all sides.
But they didn't do that here.
And sealed the entire file. All right, and so the media on that was pretty limited. With what happened in open court, with all that was said.
But they're trying to try it in public opinion now. That's what they're trying to do.
I mean, if they got I got to tell you something. If they got the documentary out there being played, then all's fair in love and war, man. Then whatever other people say, and whatever people give their opinion on social media.
So we could give our opinion, right? Exactly.
Yeah, but you can't threaten somebody. You can't say, hey, if you get up on the stand and say this, you're going to pay. You can't say anything like that.
Yeah.
You can't even imply something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, say anything that intimidates witnesses. Like I talked about, like this Gibson case, it was an amazingly hard case. It took us 6 years to exonerate this guy, and we had to go to the appellate court twice. It was still big articles about it. He demanded now $65 million from the state city. I mean, they knowingly kept the guy in prison. They tried to, that they knew was innocent. They were gonna life. They're knowing he was innocent. They were still trying to keep him in.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, Chicago, man. Chicago and Cook County.
They're that dirty, huh?
Oh, man, I can't even begin to tell you. Yes, the answer to your question is yes. Why do you think I don't want to go? I really think it very hard, and I want to go back. Really, it's disgusting. It really is. They pay these. I mean, there's been, let's put it this way. These guys called the special prosecutors named, the two guys named O'Rourke and the guy named Moan that eventually took over, but the O'Rourkes, they said so many false things, but finally they got called out in this last, another case by another former cop shooting death penalty. It was a former death penalty case where it came out that they had colluded with a witness to hide, colluded with their witness to hide a defense witness, to say they didn't know where he was when they in fact knew everybody. They knew where he was and had been in recent contact with him, right? So the judge had, in that case, it's been about a year. The name is, look it up, you guys can look at it. It's called Jackie Wilson case in Chicago. So, the judge in that case issued a scathing opinion over a year ago about these guys. This trial judge, after he heard the trial, basically, let them, said, these guys are helping hide an important witness in a case like this. They don't have a reasonable explanation. I mean, he really let them have it. And he referred them to the state bar and to the state's attorney's office, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing. They're still getting paid by the county to be special prosecutor in other cases. They're still making $1 million. They were making. I haven't look at their billing in the last year and a half, but they were last year anyway. But they were making $1 million plus a year billing the county for defending these cases. So they had a profit motive to keep people in prison.
Oh.
Yeah. and they were, and they're still there. Nobody's ever taken any action against them to strip them of their license or, make them give back the millions of dollars that they made while, acting what the judge found in that case was improper. None of that happened. They're just happily, skipping along, right? So, but like in that Gibson case, right? Twice I had to go to the appellate court to get this guy exonerated. Twice. And the judge, the first time went up, they sent it back down, they reversed the trial judge, and they said, look, you didn't take this into consideration, you didn't take this into consideration. What you said was that wasn't evidence, was evidence, and it's important evidence, and you got to basically send it back to them. And in the way appellate courts talk, they don't say things bluntly, but the way they talk, they were telling her, hey, you screwed up, we're giving you a chance to redo it. This guy's entitled to a new trial. So 4 months later, she writes a new opinion that, again, just says, no, he's not entitled to any relief. He stays in jail till he dies. And I took it back up. And the appellate court got so pissed. They said, look, we're not going to let any extension of time for filing of the briefs. Everybody get their briefs in on time really fast. Expedite this. We're going to rule. And they came back and they basically said, hey, you're the appellate. We're the appellate court. You're the trial court. You can have your opinion, but that doesn't mean you can ignore what we say. We're the boss. You work for. We're over you. And they cut the guy loose and they took the case away from her. I mean, and just basically, really, in their language, was extremely harsh on her.
Wow.
And just ripped her apart. But guess what happened to that judge?
What happened?
Nothing. She's still there in hearing felony cases in the circuit court.
So is it hard to make a complaint against a judge?
Well, yeah, but nobody's going to do anything.
Nobody's going to do anything?
No. I mean, the appellate court made a complaint against her, basically.
Wow.
Nobody does anything. They don't, in Europe, they have a different system. In Europe, judges have supervisors, they have bosses, right? And if a judge screws up, they pull them off the bench and say, something? You're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job. We're sending you, if you're in Paris, we're going to send you out to some province to hear, drunk driving and traffic ticket cases so you can learn how to do these right. And when you get it right, then you can come back and we'll start you working way up the ladder again, right? Mm-hmm. They don't just leave them sit there, saying, oh, well. They actually have a system where they, a guy's messing up and keeps getting reversed. They don't just let them sit there. They do something about it. They evaluate. They have a system for, shuffling, re-education, so to speak. And if a guy won't be re-educated, you find them. They say, you don't find yourself another job, become a prosecutor, right? Mm-hmm. There's no system like that here. There is no supervision. There's no accountability. There's no transparency. Nobody, none. Zip. So, that's what happens. Now, the federal system, is different. They're supposed to really vet these guys. They get lifetime appointments. And they get a lot of, with some exceptions, they get it right. Well,
so federal is better than state then?
Generally speaking, but nowadays, no. Because the problem is that it's become political. They politicize judges now. You have Republican appointing judges. You have Republican Congresses appoint judges, or Trump appointed judges because they throw vacancies because the Democrats when they were in power, when Obama was in power, they kept blocking his judges. And it's like and I don't know why the Democrats didn't block Republican judges, but that's what they did. And
so it's all politics.
Yeah, and that was what it used to be. It used to be back. I remember from Nixon and Reagan and Carter and all those. If a guy wasn't vetted and approved by the American Bar Association, he did not get appointed. If there were objections from any of the bar associations, serious objection from any of the major bars, they didn't appoint. They were vetting them all. So only the best of the best got appointed. Guys that were elected there. But now, it's not like that anymore. And unfortunately, you know, it's just, you know, like I said, it's, you know, there's a reason I might not go back because, you know, I'm the type I can't, as you can tell, I find it hard to stay quiet. So I speak my
Yeah.
and you can't. It's hard to speak your mind, you know, in a system that doesn't like people speaking out. They like everybody being quiet.
It's called control.
Towing the line. Yeah, and that's just not how I am.
And don't ruffle any feathers.
Yeah, but that's not me. I ruffle. You know, but you know, I learned my lesson from what happened. I mean, I would certainly, if I do decide to go back, I'm going to keep my head down, but not, you know, stay out of confrontations with other lawyers. But
so, what really happened with you? I mean, why did
Well, what happened with me is a very complex story. But let me just put there's only one thing. A lot of it's political.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of it has to do with. You know,
did it have to do with the Steve thing, or is it something else?
No. It had to do with guys with the Rialmo case and to some extent and Rahm Emanuel.
Okay.
You know, who I frustrated and not letting my client be his sacrificial lamb, and you know, and things like there was a lot of politics involved in that. You know, and so. You know, and then, you know, I can't say it 100%. I certainly, you know, when I saw a guy in one case, you know, just, you know, manufacture, what I saw was manufacturing a case on whole cloth in order to put my client in, you know, a large business, just close them down or, you know, what I thought was, or pay off an exorbitant amount of money, you know, in order to leave them alone, which to me seemed kind of, you know, I you know, I rang the alarm bell with a judge that certainly did not want to hear any alarm bells. And that got me in trouble there. So, you know, and so, you know, that was a problem too. I mean, you know, so when the judge said, you know, don't ring the alarm bell, and then you keep ringing it, you know, you're going to get in trouble. But, you know, what can I say? You know, even the appellate court. But what even the commission that heard it said, you know, what I did would normally warrant, you know, a short discipline, you know, a few months of discipline, in typical circumstances. But for some unexplained reason, they said, but in this case, we're going to do. Well, it didn't say why. What was this case about? That where they would do more, but. I mean, you know, it's fairly obvious. So, you know, and
so they just temporary.
I'm a big boy. You know, I'm doing okay.
So what did they do? Temporary take your license away?
Yeah, it's temporary.
Okay.
You know, I mean, the time's pretty much up, but you know, I'd rather go into the entertainment business, to tell you the truth.
Gotcha.
I'd rather go to this. If I do I'd rather do this documentary. Than anything else. You know, I mean, 37 years, I've tried major cases. You know, I exonerated innocent people. I've done pretty much all I ever wanted to do anyway. You know,
Yeah.
So, you know, I might as well try something new. Most people change professions 3 times in their life, on average. You know, I've done one thing, so maybe, you know, why not try the next thing?
Yeah.
You know, we got an offer. We got an offer from NBC Peacock. So now we got to close the deal.
Okay.
Which I found out is a lot more difficult than I thought. But you know, we're working. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So maybe you guys will watch my documentary.
I will. I'll watch it.
I hope everybody watches it because I want the residuals. But
yeah.
You know, watch it more than once. But you know, I think we're close to making the deal.
So when is that supposed to go into?
Oh no, we won't. We'll take, you know, once we get going, there's pre-production, then there's then there's, you know, then there's production, and then there's editing, and then there's post-production, and then only then. So, we started tomorrow. Probably going to come out till late 2022, early 2023, and I don't think we're starting tomorrow. So,
Okay.
but that's okay. It takes you get paid while you're doing it, and B, it'll be a real learning experience to do something new like that. Plus, maybe I'll move out to LA.
You want to move out to LA?
Nah, now I'm going to move to Europe, but nowadays you can work on movies because other than when you got to be present for the actual shooting, everything is done electronic. It's all on the internet. Everything's done online. Mm. So you don't even have to be on the same continent anymore. Yeah. So as long as you have a good internet connection, so you can be anywhere in the world. It's be interesting to do. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, hoping they can make this thing happen. And if it happens, then that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And then my friend, the guy that was a detective in the murder, in the Rialmo case, that guy that was the former homicide chief in Chicago, he wrote a book called "Murder Is My Life" by Dave O'Callaghan, and it's a good book. Anyway, I want to turn that. If I get that, then I'm going to make that my next documentary, because this guy had done more. He did literally thousands of murder investigations over his career, and he's got some really fascinating stories. So, and we'll just go from there, and then by the time I finish both those projects, I'll be too old to work anymore. Be time to lay down. But anyway, like I said, look at the time. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's late.
Yeah. Okay. Look at my. All I can say is, at least, like I said, I'm not saying, people would say, how can you? Like people have said, you're in the side of this, sex offender, abuser. Okay. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I've been through more than enough trials to know that. Believe me, I've seen more than enough innocent people convicted. Yeah. To know that you cannot just because the government makes an allegation doesn't
mean it's so, because you have to prove it. You have to prove it.
And that making the government prove somebody guilty, no matter what they're accused of, beyond a reasonable doubt, is the reason that that we're free. Because if the government can lock you up without having to prove you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, then we're not free anymore.
Look how many innocent people through DNA they found that they didn't do those things.
Yeah. Well, we had 23 people in Illinois who were on death row.
Wow.
Whose convictions had been affirmed by the Illinois Supreme Court, right? Who were later found to be innocent.
Wow.
Right? So yeah, I am very aware. Believe me, very aware of the problem.
But you know what?
That doesn't mean that he's innocent either. I don't know. I'm been through it enough to say, willing to say, I really don't know. I'm certainly not going to assume things going to take a documentary as beyond a reasonable doubt. Exactly. These people said something. Maybe there's smoke, where there's a lot of smoke. There's fire, but okay. That's not doing anything. They got to prove him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law, not just for him, but for me too. Okay.
Because they coming after men from stuff from 30, 40, 50 years ago. I'm like, come on. Where's the statute of limitation?
Well, that's a different argument. But what I'm saying is, the government's got this. So look, so that means that it's just not, the trial is not then some pantomime play. It's not kabuki theater. It's got to be a real trial where the defense has done a decent job and is questioning the evidence, right? And then if the government still proves them guilty, then it proves them guilty. But in this case, that doesn't seem to be able to be possible. And that's what's upsetting to me. And I think should be upsetting to most people. Yeah. The government's going to say, well, that's not our fault. No, that may be true, but that doesn't mean you should let it happen. So,
but you have to have a competent attorney in there. Come on now.
Absolutely, you gotta allow the guy. He's got to have, especially when they're going to come at this hard. It's got to have a competent attorney with doing the basic, the basic job that needs to be done to aggressively question the material evidence in the case. In court, not just in the media. In court, file motions, make legal arguments as to why the evidence is flawed or shouldn't be allowed in. And properly prepared to get the proper information so you can prepare to cross-examine and challenge the evidence at trial and poke holes in it.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. Yeah. And if you haven't done that, then it's not a fair trial.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. That's true.
And that's what's upset. That's kind of why I spoke out in this thing, because to a little extent my.
But I mean, if you didn't, I mean, you got to go with what your conscience is. There's something in your head saying, okay, at least I know I did what I was supposed to do. And
I mean, I don't know how many people hear this, or just a few, or if it's getting, if it's getting in the internet, getting passed around a lot. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But I've done what I've done. I spoke out as much as I can.
Well, I thank you for people like you. Don't let things like this just be swept underneath the rug, and it's not fair.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm in trouble.
No, you don't.
So be it.
But at least you can sleep at night.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't have anybody cry for me.
Yeah.
So far so good.
Yeah.
But we'll see what. But I really hope, I don't know. Well, I guess the next time and then I gotta get going. But the next time this case comes up in court will be when they get Callie over to New York. So I guess the thing to watch is online. You can punch into the federal prison. The Federal Department of Correction, the Department of Prisons, and their website. And you can punch in for people and see where they're located. And they'll have him still in Chicago, and then when he's being transported, they'll have him assigned. Won't have him there anymore. They'll have him assigned to some transportation. I think it's out of Atlanta. I forget exactly where. And then it was all handled by one centralized location. And then he'll be in New York. So when you see him arrive in New York, then watch, and there'll be another court date. And hopefully things will start getting straightened out then.
Yeah.
But it's really it's a tragic. It's really what's going on here. Just simply from a defense standpoint, what's happened so far in this case is tragic. It's tragic. It really is. It's just tragic. It's just so much more should have been done and wasn't. It's just tragic. Yeah. But I'm not, So, anyway, best luck. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you too again. Thank you.
All right, be good, okay?
All right, have a good one. Thank you again.
No problem.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, that was Joel again. He came back to have a conversation with me because there's some things that I had on my mind, and I wanted to allow you to listen to our conversation him and I had. Well, we having. Come on in, Gooch. Gooch to Gooch. Come on in, Gooch, Gooch, Gooch. So we can chit chat. Is everybody in the chat? Everybody gone? Gucci. Yeah, he was very informative. He was really informative, but it was interesting what he said in regards to the motions that should have been filed. It was very, very informative. And also, I did not know that all those things could have been done. You know, like even like the Demetrius stuff, they all could have been like taken off. Request to be taken off. I wonder why that didn't happen. Yeah, we just gotta pray. We gotta pray, guys. Come on in, people. Where y'all at? 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 Wait. Where's Gucci? Let me see where the Gucci at. Where the Gucci? Oh, okay. I gotta send somebody a text back. Hold on. It's a free Robert. Well, people have been saying these things, but most of us felt like they didn't know what they were talking about. A lot of what he said was saying Trent. Yep, sure. Trent was saying a year ago. Yep, y'all. Trent was saying it a year ago. Sure was. See the time we gotta pray. It's not a cop-out statement, it's a fact. It's a fact, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that.
That was Dallas, y'all.
We're just gonna eat some tea.
Dallas, could you give me some water out the refrigerator, please?
Like cup in a cup.
No, the bottom. The bottom. At the
You put
bottom.
some in the refrigerator?
Yeah, at the bottom.
Mm.
Yep, fasting and praying. Hey.
Mom, I just said thank you. The food was good.
Oh, you're welcome.
She said, you're welcome.
Water. Miss Fat, look. Miss Fat, look. Look, Miss Fat. All right, guys. So we talking about this case is full of appeals. Full of appeals if he loses. Yep. Dallas Rita say hey.
Hey.
Yep. Very true, Miss Lady. Earth Lady. Lady Earth. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bunch of mess. It's a bunch of mess. I tell you one thing. It's a bunch of mess. It's a bunch of mess. Bunch of mess. Bunch of mess.
All right. Your turn, Miss T.
Where's Reverend Gucci? I don't know. Let me see where Reverend Gucci at.
All right.
I'm calling him now. He's
Calling who?
you, because they said, where's Reverend Gucci? Lavelle said, where's Reverend Gucci?
I'm in the chat watching.
They hear you talking to me right now. Why don't you come on in, Reverend Gucci?
I was laying in the bed, but okay, I'm gonna come on. I get up. Let me go in the living room. Bye.
You could come on without showing your face.
I'm coming on.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'm coming on. Let me go in the living room.
Okay.
Right, bye.
He's coming, y'all. He's coming. Reverend Gucci coming. What's wrong with your throat?
I don't know.
So in some lady inbox saying Gucci's laying hands on the lady's inbox. If people weren't entertaining the nonsense and the shenanigans, we could have got somewhere in this fight. After over 2 years, nothing significant has happened to actually help R. Kelly. This is sad. Shakira, I'm confused. Yeah, you know, Rita. I mean, I am sleepy. What do you mean by that? We can't do anything. We're not attorneys. What do you mean? What do you mean, Shakira? There you go, Gooch.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Gooch.
What's happening? I was listening in the chat, you know. I was like,
Well, what do you think?
oh, what he's saying make a lot of sense though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why you remember I told you that's why when the new attorneys come on, you know, Anne was claiming she won't put the date off, but they're gonna have to file a motion to get date put off because there's no way the new attorney can go over all that material in such a short time.
But my question is, okay, all those things that could have been taken out of why they did not file those
Great
motions?
question, because they wasn't for Rob. Because any lawyer in America, the first thing he's gonna do, even if the judge denied it, he's gonna file a motion to get the case dismissed. I didn't see they try that one time.
Yeah, but what about all those other things, the evidence that was
Right.
like, you know, like even Aaliyah, I'm just gonna use Aaliyah's thing, okay? They never charged a person who's supposed to have been bribed. And remember, he just said the statute of limitation is on there. So why are you bringing it up? If the statute of limitation to charge the person who's been bribed is up, why is it part of his case?
Wait, did you remember when he first met me, you looked it up, and the statute of limitation and everything was 5 years?
We did look it up. Yep, we sure did. It was 5 years. And
5 years.
Out why is it in here when statute of limitation of that was like past the time?
Past time.
So how is that being important in this case when it's way past the time?
Past time, right? Because they got nothing, and they know the attorneys he got was not filing any motion to get dismissed, so they can just throw anything out there and they stick with it. Because I've never never in my life, and I got too many friends that been through the system, where an attorney does not file to get a charge dismissed, or even just file to say, hey, let's file to get the case dismissed because it's the same case. They didn't even try that,
Yeah.
you know.
Shakira said she kept saying 2 years ago, we need to shift our focus. And I knew this case was much bigger than those alleged victims.
Yeah, hey, Shakira, I told Sylvia that too. I said to Sylvia, and Sylvia, you remember I told you, I said, this case ain't about none of them girls. They don't care about
Yeah,
them
you said that.
girls.
You said that.
This case is a political case. Everybody want to use Rob as a stepping stone. Kim Fox and all the people she contact to do it. Because y'all remember, the FBI said they didn't see any evidence to do anything. So what they did, they went to Homeland Security. This case is about somebody gonna have bragging rights to say, "Oh, I did this to R. Kelly. I brought him down. I did it." There ain't nobody care about none of them girls. None. Because none of them girls is a victim. They know that already.
Shakira, she said she wants to call it. Okay, let me put in call in number. Hold on, Shakira.
You know. So this case, what it is, this case just got too many people jumping in it. So the prosecutor feel privileged to have these people doing this thing. They're helping the prosecutor, doing all this conviction towards Rob. That's all
Hold
it is.
on. Let me get this phone. Hold on a second, Gooch.
Okay.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Right. So basically, that's all it is. Because, we're going to be real with ourselves, okay? We know that Rob case is BS. First of all, Gerald Bibbs said it. Gerald Bibbs said, none of these ladies was underage, so I have to come with a novel strategy to get Mr. Kelly. So there was no underage, there was none of that. The problem is they want Rob, and being that in the past, Rob had that stuff where they said he was talking to underage, so they trying to make that what is it about to get him, to get him. This is not. I mean, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. I'm being real. Never. Never. Where people just plant themselves in a case. They claim they're fighting for him, but they having keys with the people that helped setting them up. All that nonsense, man. But to each their own. Like I tell everybody, only thing you can do is say a prayer for Rob and just hope and pray God lead everything in the right path. Because I've never seen a case this messy in my life. Lawyers are fighting to stay on a case. What happened to when you fired a lawyer? He just go on his way. They fired this man, then this man throwing the other lawyers under the bus, talking about she taking bribery, she involved in bribery. Steve Greenberg is a douchebag. And when I first used to say that, people like, nah, he know what he doing. And I told them that. I said, I spoke to another lawyer in Chicago that know him real well and said he's not a good lawyer. He's not. He only good in the state. And he only good on paper. He cannot argue nothing. But no one would listen to me. No one. But now, instead of he just get off the case, he trying to make Nicole look bad. And what this gonna do? This gonna make Steve look so weak in Chicago. Steve is not gonna get no real case from nobody in Chicago because of this. Because first of all, ain't nobody want nobody like him. So, it's just crazy. It's crazy. So, Sylvia, where you at?
Hold on. Look, she over here.
Oh,
Over here harassing me.
Dallas, tell her to leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
She- You know, so it's just crazy, man. But you know, but it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So you know, everything be all right. Just have faith. That's all we gotta have is a faith. Just have faith. You know, Sylvia, she's calling right now.
No, she not.
What's
She
up,
not
Marshall?
calling. She didn't call. Look, I got the phone right here.
She said she's calling right now.
She's not calling. I got the phone right here. I went to go get it.
Woo! Come on, Sylvia, come on the page 1 second. I gotta change batteries.
I'm right here.
Come on, let me
I had
change
to get
batteries.
some food. I had to get some food.
Yeah, you went and took Dallas food.
Ugh.
I'll be right back. Let me change batteries.
Okay, go ahead. Shakira, I'm ready. Did you call? There she go. Thank you for calling Infamous Sylvia. This is how may I help you? Okay. Hey, Shakira, how are you?
Let me try to explain a little bit more. I said, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so
Can y'all hear her?
probably 2 years, maybe even a little bit more than 2 years ago, that the victims were smoke screen and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying that a lot of the things that Joel was saying about the motions, I mentioned that, even when I called in on, Dr. Race and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was just way too much confusion and shenanigans going on. When I started looking into on my own, a lot of the stuff that I did do research on as far as the case goes, because that's the only thing I was ever really interested in. When I started seeing that certain motions weren't being filed, when I started seeing that certain things weren't said publicly by, Steve and just other people that were working on the case, I knew right then and there. I said, no, something is wrong, and these females are being used as a distraction. Now, as it pertains to the people that's in the fight for R. Kelly and the people that say they are, I really believe wholeheartedly that if we had put focus on, left the females alone and focused on, why aren't these motions being filed?
Yeah.
And why isn't this being challenged? And then we would have started pushing those narratives. I think we could have actually helped, because one thing I know is that when someone's trying to do something, with corruption, they will throw out a smoke screen and mirror.
Yeah.
Which in this case, it was the girls. And everybody gravitated towards that, right?
Yeah.
So they were able to do the things they were doing using the girls. But when someone does something and you know what they're trying to do and you put that out there, then they have to either devise another plan, or a lot of these, I'm trying to word this as best I can. I just feel like even with the marches, I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Be honest.
I'm going to be really blunt. I didn't really think that they were that beneficial or helpful if the right message wasn't going to be pushed.
Uh-huh.
And, when, like I said, so let me back up for a second. When someone's trying to cover up some shit,
Uh-huh.
they're going to throw things at you. They're going to throw different things to cover up what it is that they're actually doing. When you take the bait and you entertain the females, they got you. But when you start looking at the law, when you start looking at, you know, the legalities of the case,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be mind fucked. And I'm not saying that he still wouldn't be in jail. Just to be honest with you, I think that, like Joel said, no judge was going to give him bail. That was already decided the moment they picked him up. They were not going to give him bail. And I just wish that the right message was pushed. I kept saying that, you know, spend some time in law libraries. You can look up stuff online. You know, people weren't interested in really looking at things that could really help him. It was more about, you know, the back and forth, the nonsense. And for me, I had periods where I just kind of like stepped away because it just became too much. You know?
Yeah.
It's sad. Like, it's sad. And sometimes if you can't help a person, it's okay. Like, not everybody is going to be, not everybody has, okay, let me back up. Not everybody is well versed in the law, right? And that's okay. I'm not saying that people should be. But, excuse me for saying this, I've seen people throughout different channels spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hour lives multiple times a day or every other day, or some channels every day, looking up people's information, exposing this, exposing that. And I feel like if that same energy had been put into helping the person that everybody claims they're in a fight for, I feel like we could have got somewhere. I feel like that should have been the focus, instead of focusing on who's having sex with who, you know, it was just a lot of mess. And I do feel like, and I'm not going to say everybody, but I do believe wholeheartedly that people who claim to have been and still claim to be for him are genuine, and they were only in it for themselves, and that's why it was so easy to become, you know, distracted. I feel like a lot of the beef that's going on, the back and forth, I feel like that's all a diversion and distraction. And I don't need to say names because I think it's obvious, you know, who the distractions are.
Okay, got a question. So, do you believe some of the distraction is people that were part of the plan?
I do. You know, I have my own list because I'm very, you know, observant. Sometimes I'm in the chat and I'm watching things when I'm on certain channels. Some channels, you know, I watch, I take notes, I listen to things people say, and I feel like there was a cohesive effort on the part of the government. I feel like there were plants put on social media to distract, to cause further diversion, to keep people from really addressing the real issue. You know, so people wouldn't focus on, you know, the money. I talked to some people behind the scenes because, you know, I had people that I know very close that's involved in different parts of the industry, and I know that it's not about no damn girls. It's about money. It's about the money. The girls was just used as a smokescreen, and this, from the first trial, when that ended, all the way up until now, I think people were planted. You know,
I agree with you.
There's no doubt in my mind, and I think when you look at, this is what you got to look at. far as a lot of the bloggers, I've stepped away from the beginning. I've stepped away from a lot because when when you see certain people that were so-called friends or whatever, you see them just doing shady shit.
Yeah.
They'll say one thing, then they'll do something else.
Yeah.
They'll come out and say, oh, it's about I'm here, but you get caught up in the distractions. People posting all kinds of, vagina pictures and just all type of nonsense, like going back and forth. And it's sad. It's so much I want to say, and I'm just hesitant because things that I peep with quite a few like bloggers, you see certain people going so hard to defend shit and people that you just can't defend.
Yeah.
You can't defend, and no matter what, they'll always try to change the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's and for me, I personally, when I came onto YouTube, because I was already following everything on other social media platforms, things pertaining to the case years ago, even in probably 2017. And when I came on YouTube, based off of what I've seen on other platforms, I really came on YouTube to gain insight into his crew, because I was talking to people behind the scenes and I'm hearing certain things, and I had to gain insight for myself to understand how could a man who is Robert Kelly, become, like, with all his success and everything, how could he, end up in this situation again? And when I started looking at a lot of the people in the crew, the people that started coming out and speaking, I can clearly understand now how he could be in the situation that he's in, because as talented as he is and as much as he accomplished, he kept the most degenerate, excuse me, people around him,
Mm-hmm.
and you have all these people coming out speaking on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows what's best for him. There's too many people speaking and acting on his behalf.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
And he has to take control of his own life and make decisions for himself.
Mm-hmm.
I say everybody has to go.
Yeah.
The only relationship that I think, when this is all said and done, that I would say that is worth him trying to salvage, if it can even be, the relationship can be even mended, would be his children. Anybody outside of his children,
I
don't
agree.
think they're worth it.
I agree with you.
Because you got all of these people saying, there's like think about the people and the titles that they claim to have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna address one person. I don't know Will Eady, but I've listened to a lot of things that he said, and he's just one person. And I can't imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least in my world and my friends, like, we try to, where one person might be strong,
Mm-hmm.
they could be weaker in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine saying, I've been friends with somebody for 20 plus years, and this person has literacy issues, and I don't do something to help that. I can't imagine, I've been around somebody for 20 something years, and then they get caught up in a situation, and I can't help them financially. Think about all the people that's been around him, that's just been able to benefit in some way just from being associated with him.
Mm-hmm.
Seen in pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Where has he been able to benefit from any of these people?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's so frustrating when I see people who are supporters who are entertaining these people. I don't feel like they're worthy of being entertained.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I have a platform. I have two different channels.
Mm-hmm.
I could have came out and I didn't want to talk to these people because the questions that I would have been asking, they wouldn't have been ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you should be ashamed to say that you've been friends with somebody that long, and it's almost like he's still somewhat, he's no better off with none of these people in his life. None of them.
But you know, the thing too, Shakira, it seems like the people that don't know him, like us, are willing to do so much for him. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying everybody should go march. I'm not saying that, but there should have been a more like a presence of them, even being involved with his legal team, getting stuff to the legal team type of thing, you know. And I don't know if they're doing it or not, but when I say I'm a friend, a real friend, you know, going down to the dirt with you to help you wherever you are. That's the type of friend I am. I'm a real friend. I'm not a fair weather friend when things are lovely. That's when I'm around you. I'm going to be there when things are the darkest and deepest and ugliest time of your life. I'm going to be there for you. And to me, and I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but I don't see them being that type of friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. I just think it's sad. Like, they would all go, like, I'm telling you, once this is all said and done, I will come through like a hurricane or tornado in World War III all mixed in one and clean house. And when I say everybody would go, everybody would go. Because they're no good to him. They're useless. If he's the breadwinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he feeds everybody, he should be protected. You know, and none of these people had his best interest.
Yeah.
None of them. And it's just sad. It's sad. But and I said this, and two things I don't wish on nobody. I don't wish death, and I don't wish jail. But what I have initially, I was like, he should get bail. But then I had to stop and think. And my cousin said, he was like, no, jail, that's the best place for him. My cousin said that. And this is someone who is, he had his own situation where he got caught up, in the system at one point in time in his life, but he's changed his life since then. But he was like, no, he was like, can you imagine all this stuff? Because we watch it from, I just got back into, keeping up, so I'm kind of like a little bit behind with a lot of things, but I still know enough from before, before I stepped away,
Mm-hmm.
to now to know, kind of like what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I never seen anything like it. I never seen anything like this. And let me just say something else. I have a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to reach out to him, and maybe you can talk to him and hear his story,
Mm-hmm.
because I think his story can speak to some legalities to this case, because he went through a situation where, he was facing 335 years in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And 335 years, but he ended up doing 21 years. I say that to say this, and this is a person I don't really like to speak on too much, and I mean, I can't tell other people what to do, but I just feel like people like entertaining Larry is just pointless. It's been pointless. It's just beyond pointless. But what people fail to realize, like Larry fails to realize, that one, the burden of proof is on the government. It only takes one juror in each trial. My friend was facing 335 years, and it had a variety of different charges, and some of the same charges that, you know, R. Kelly is facing, my friend was facing those same charges. Wow. Now, he went on trial for the most serious crime, which was, I think it was a murder charge. Mm-hmm. And he went to trial. The two other co-defendants, they actually got off. They beat it. He had 335 years. Just keep that number in mind. Mm-hmm. When he went to trial for the murder, the jury voted 11 not guilty, 1 to convict. So, they came to him after the trial, and they said, look, they could go back to trial, but the government would have lost. Or you can, the 335. So when he looked at it, and some of the charges was like, they carried like minimum of 20 years. One of the charges carried it was like between 15 to 20 years. He decided at that point, I'm facing 335 years on these charges alone. So he copped to he copped out the manslaughter. But his story is much more, and I'm just giving you like a basic,
so they couldn't convict him because he had one jury that was convicted, the other ones were not, right? So they could have went back to trial, but he chose not to?
He chose not to go because he was facing 335 years on the other charges. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So one of the charges and I think it was over 30 charges that totaled to 335 years, meaning he would have died in jail. But when the jury came back and it was 11 not guilty, 1 guilty, and he was looking at a second trial, he looked at it like, shit, I'm already facing 15 to 20 years on one charge, just one. Not counting all the other ones. So they made a deal, cop out the manslaughter, and they dropped all the other charges. You understand?
Yeah.
It makes sense. And R. Kelly says, I don't think a plea is, listen, certain crimes I would never admit to if I didn't do it. No. And sex crimes is one.
Yeah, that's why I won't blame Rob. I will continue fighting it to the end.
Fight it?
Yeah.
Because even if he gets a conviction, and I said this before, I remember typing this in the chat, I still have the screenshot. I said this case, if it goes to appeal, I would like to, assist even doing like research on it. I would like to do it because I work with different attorneys. I'm very, I believe in due process, and I do that. I don't want to get too much into what I do, but let's just say I work on helping people with those in those type of situations and appeals cases.
Okay.
I would like to be of service if from a research standpoint. I think this case is on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say weak versus strong, 10 being the strongest. I would say 3 or 4.
Because,
Right attorneys.
yeah.
Based off of what I've read and what I've seen and what I've heard about, the discovery, the fact that they're bringing up stuff from 20 years ago, I think the females are the easier part of the case. I think all of the other nuances can become challenging. And now, by Steve not following the proper motions, I think it could complicate things. I still think it's winnable. And
But
if I were
my
able
question,
to see,
Shakira,
I'm not, none of us are. If I were able to look at the discovery and break it down and I would have a better insight.
Yeah.
That way, but I'm praying for the best because it's a lot. This is draining. But we just gotta get back focused. Like, shift the focus. I think people are focused. To be honest with you, let me not say not focused. I think people are focused.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to shift the focus and change the narrative. I think we're just focused on the wrong things. But I think, there's still time. It's never too late to, change the narrative.
Yeah.
The industry, it's a dirty game. And when money's on the line, listen, I've been to some industry parties and I'm happy. I've been around people in the industry. I have, family and friends that have done everything from lawyers to bodyguards, nannies, people, friends married to people in the industry. And it's a very, very dark place. And a lot of people that know the truth aren't saying anything because they got their own dirt and their own skeleton. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why you don't see a lot of people in the industry standing up and saying anything. And a lot of these girls that's attached to the case, if they ever did have a chance in the industry,
They're done.
They're done. Because let me tell you something. One thing, when you start, you go around in certain parties and circles, when people don't know you, that's the first thing they're going to want to do. They're going to want to get to know you. Who you know? Who's your family? And then, they want to, they will secretly, whether you know it or not, they will go and look in your background. Do you got social media? And they will look in your background. And if you ain't got no dirt on you, chances are you have a little bit more of a difficult time maneuvering in certain circles. And if you stay around long enough, in some way, shape, or form, you'll become compromised.
Wow.
Because you're going to witness a lot of stuff. You're going to witness the most sickest, just things you can imagine.
Wow.
And it's sick. And too long and you ain't on some kind of drugs, you're going to suffer from some kind of, mental health issues. And I just think he just got to hang in there. He got to hang in there because it can't go down like this. Sex crimes. Let me tell you something. I work with Child Protective Services in at least 5 states, and I take people when someone is accused of anything related to a sex crime. That's nothing to be taken lightly. I will never just go around spreading that type of thing or calling someone that without there being some proof.
Yeah.
People are so comfortable now with just saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've worked with sex abuse victims as young as under the age of 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen some things that the stuff that these girls is talking, the allegations, it's just, I've seen some stuff that, some sick stuff. I know real pedophiles, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know real pedophiles. People throw that word around.
Yeah, it's a serious word. It's not a joke.
I've had to sit and look at pictures of people that been damaged by pedophiles, and I'm trying not to be too graphic, but I think you can understand and read between the lines of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can.
It's the most sickest thing, and before you fix your mouth to say that about somebody, you should know what you're talking about. Everybody wants to talk about this tape. And I've seen this and I've seen that. First of all, why would you even want to see some sick stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
They're sick individuals themselves.
You gotta be you gotta be some type of sexual deviant to even wanna watch something like that.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is with technology, Sylvia, I could take your picture right now and send it to some people that I know that know how to, and tomorrow I could send you an email and say, look, and I could put you on tape with anybody I wanted, anybody I got a picture of in a sex tape, and no one would know the difference. It would be, like, oh my God, on the surface, I've never seen the tape. I know people who have.
I've never seen it either.
And they told me, they said, only 2 people that said it could possibly look me, but they weren't sure. But nobody I know that has seen that tape. And I questioned the thing, but I thought, why were you even looking at it? Well, people were saying it was I wanted to see, and nobody I know said that. Everybody want to talk about the tape. Everybody want to talk about, people keep saying kids, but I'm like, where's the kids at?
Mm-hmm.
Because all I'm seeing, from my vantage point, it just looks like a bunch of disgruntled, entitled ass groupies.
Yep, that's what it is.
I know what these females do. I remember I have a really, really close friend, and she works for Live Nation. And I went on this very, very big tour. It was a hip-hop tour. And I remember I was young, and I went in there. And let me tell you, them girls will do any and everything.
Yep.
Get next to a celebrity. So when Donald Trump said what he said, I did not take offense to that. He was telling the truth.
Yep.
When you're famous and you got money, they will do any and everything.
Yep.
I had a certain popular Instagram. Well, she's popular now. She wasn't that when I met her. I had met her. I was in a casino was my cousin. And we were at the same table, we were playing, and I remember befriending her. I wasn't on Instagram at the time, and my cousin, you know, she's married to somebody in the industry. When she knew, like, oh my God, like, you're around this person, you know this person, you know that person. This girl tried to befriend me. She wanted to give me, I was going to a particular party. She wanted to pay me like $5,000 just for me to bring her to this party. Because she was trying to get next to a particular basketball player that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And she was willing to do anything, pay me $5,000, and yeah.
Wow.
They go in bathroom stalls, they take it and listen, I'm telling you.
Wow.
And then they willing to do all of that, right? And then when it's like, the guy's like, okay, yeah, I'll pay for it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, they do pay for it. They might fly you out. They do that. But then when it's on to the next city and on to the next, you know,
because they think they the one. They think they the one, but they don't understand. They dealing with somebody who's a superstar, this athlete. They got women in every state. Remember the guy? What was his name? That player. He had women everywhere. He had slept with thousands and thousands, like over 50,000 women. What was his name? Was it Will Chamberlain? One of them. Was it Chamberlain? He had women all over the place, and some of these women got upset.
I cannot think of his name.
But he had so many women, and they were getting upset because they thought they were the only one. I'm like, why would you think that?
Yeah.
What was his name, y'all? What was the name of the guy who slept with so many women? He came out right after when supposedly Magic Urban had gotten AIDS. That wasn't it Will Chamberlain? Kareem Abdul? No, it was Will Chamberlain, I think.
I don't think that player is still alive though.
No, he's not. He's been dead, but he had slept with thousands and thousands of women.
No, he's not alive anymore.
No, he's not alive. He's not alive.
His name.
Was it Will Chamberlain?
It might.
Yeah.
You know what?
No, he had more than 5,000 women, Elizabeth. Will Chamberlain slept with more than 5,000. It was over almost 1 million.
Yeah.
He slept, it was like over 50,000 women or something like that. Oh my God. Way. Aha.
And the narrative that, you know, people want to sit here.
100,000. That's who it was.
He was chasing. He wasn't chasing none of them damn women down. One thing I can tell you, especially, I've never met him personally, but I have went to a couple of R. Kelly shows and concerts. And let me tell you, I wasn't 17. I wasn't 17 either. Because he don't like, yeah. And the shows that I went to were 21 and over.
Yeah.
The ones that I went to were 21 and over. So I was at least 21 years old before I ever went to an R. Kelly concert. It is no place that a 17-year-old should be. It is no place that a 17-year-old should be. And my thing is, everybody wants to persecute this man, but nobody wants to like the parents don't want to be held accountable. You know, you know, in the real world, and I don't consider, like, it is real because the man is fighting for his life, right? So I'm not saying that, but in the world that I live in, you know, if you neglect your kids and something happens, your ass is in jail for that. You can go to jail for that. Won't they lock you up if your kids don't go to school?
Yep, they do.
So they can lock up parents when their kids don't go to school. But when
they said over 20,000 women he slept with. That's what it was. 20,000 women. It was him.
It's possible. It's possible. And let me, like I said, these women, they'll sleep with the guy who cleans out the porta potty on a tour bus.
Mm-hmm.
If it meant
Just to get close.
They can get close to a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know, and because you decide 5 years later that, you have groupie remorse, what I call groupie remorse. Now all of a sudden, you know, we're supposed to crucify somebody and take away their livelihood, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you because you wanted to be a thot?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, I know, like I said, I work with real victims. People want to talk about kids. I work with real victims of sexual abuse. And they ain't on Lifetime getting awards. They ain't trying to get a they not flaunting Birkin bags and fake breasts and bending over and popping their behinds on Instagram and doing none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, these kids never get justice. I work with real kids. I've seen some really graphic, disturbing stuff. And the people that I just, even, and what bugs me, and I understand trauma a lot better now than I did when I was young, my teenage years and stuff. What baffles me is that people, like, there's real victims out here. People that really been sexual, and I feel like real victims should be offended and disgusted by what we've seen over the last 3 years or so, you know?
Mm. Wow.
You know, I can't, like, sometimes I have to step away from this periodically because I literally feel like I'd be living in the twilight zone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, this isn't real. And people, I feel like people are just so gullible. I think if this case teaches people nothing else, it should teach you the power of the media and the manipulation and how people are just so gullible and quick to believe anything. I don't believe in that. Oh, believe all women. No. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe in that because women lie too.
Yep.
I have a friend who's a police officer. And if I was not standing there when this incident happened, I don't know what could have happened. There was two girls. One was older. And the other one, she told her real age. She said, I'm 16. But they wanted to go take him, long story short, they wanted to do a threesome with him. A 16-year-old. Yeah.
Wow.
And they were just saying, like, yeah, like, come around the corner. Like, and this 16-year-old was talking some stuff, like, that I'm just like, wow. And I told her, I said, get your little young A on somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but and they had no qualms about doing what they were doing. They were ready to, like, really go and do what they were going to do. It's probably a setup. You know, these girls, they young, they lie about their age, you know, to get to these rappers and stuff. And a lot of the times, these girls never get to the person that they're looking for. They sleeping with the bus drivers and the security and the this and the that. So it's always important. And if you know, I'm sure as he's sitting in jail and he's locked up and he's in that cell, all of this is playing through his mind. You got to have a strong team around you. You got to. You got to have people around you that are not groupies.
Yep.
I feel like he had a lot of groupies around him. Because for someone to be as successful as he is, to do all of the work that he's done over the past 20 years at the level, there's no way you can't tell me that he was having all that sex. There's no damn way you having all that sex and you're gonna be that successful.
Mm-mm. And then the way his and the way his schedule is, he was a creature of habit.
Yeah, so if people had either access to him,
Yeah.
but just because you have access to him, that doesn't mean you have access to him. If you understand what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
you could just be in the vicinity. There's people in the industry, big people in the industry that I've been in their presence. I've been around them because of, everybody knows somebody. Like Floyd Mayweather, for instance, I've been to in a lot of his earlier fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to a lot of his fights, but I can't tell you that I know him personally. Met him before, exchanged a few words, but I was mainly there because I was friends with when he used to fight before he came out with Mayweather Promotions. He was I think it was Golden Boy, but there's a trainer. He's a very popular trainer, and I was friends with people inside of this trainer's family, and my cousin, who was he didn't end up going pro, but he was being trained by him at the time. So you can be in the vicinity of people, and you can be around people, but that don't mean you still have access to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like his team failed him, and he really needs to let those people go. He really needs to let those people go. I just want to say this too before I get off. I feel like with the one girl, and I'm not going to say her name because I'm just not, but I think, I think what she did, it didn't take nobody flipping her. She was a part of the setup. That other person just asserted themselves in a situation for their own, for their own benefit. I don't feel like, I hear people say, oh, well, he used. No, they used each other.
Mm.
They used each other, and she was going to do what she was going to do regardless. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could say, people say, oh, well, she loved him and she was in love. No, she wasn't. There's a difference between being in love. And one thing I learned about being around people in the industry, very few people have people that genuinely love them. People love what being affiliated with this person provides them.
Mm-hmm.
She was in love with the lifestyle. She was in love with the money. She was in love with what being with him was able to do for her. The moment that couldn't be done anymore, she went to doing what she did. She was gonna and I said this before. She went in with the setup, right? She was a part of that, but she got, because he's very generous. He's a very generous guy. I know people that have been around him, and there's some other things that I know, but I'm not going to say it because I know people watch and I know people record and I know people say things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to add to the,
Yeah,
I know people that have worked with him I just don't want to say too much as far as that, because I'm not going to give anybody any ammunition to use in that situation. And he's a very generous guy. So when he said, I have a big heart, he really does.
Yeah.
Right? Another person that a lot of people would tell you has a very, very big heart. But the biggest difference is he has a fairly good team of people around him. You're not going to, like Floyd, he's a very generous guy too. He does a lot for people on and off camera.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't going to just, it's going to be harder for you to get, because he does, I would say he has a very good team of people around him as far as his security and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And people just, his heart was too big, it was too good. Like, a lot of those people, they were degenerates. They didn't even deserve to be in his presence. You know, and he would, you know, all you had to do, you come around him and you tell him a story, like a sad story, and he would feel sorry for you and try to help you.
Wow.
And my friend's husband, very, you know, not going to say his name because, you know, I'm just not, but her husband, even so, he told him, like, one time, why do you have all these people around you? Like, a lot of people, so when Gucci was saying, he was telling him, like, you need to get real people around you and stuff like that, people had told him this.
Mm-hmm.
That these people were no good. And that's been, when I talk to people behind the scenes and the people that they're not going to necessarily be on public platforms speaking, but they'll say they'll tell you, they'll say them N-words around him is why he in the situation he's in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trust me. Them people around him, them dudes he had around him, they probably got more sex off his name than he actually got.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And they need to come clean. They need to come clean. I feel like a lot of the stuff that's happened around him, I feel like, as far as the diversions and this whole RICO thing and these different situations that have been used as for a reason for him to remain locked up or you know, different things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I say the people around him and the people that are affiliated with the people around him, you understand what I'm saying? Because I don't believe everybody that's screaming, I'm for Robert Kelly or Kelly, whatever they want to call him, is for him. I think they're all a part of this. There's people on these platforms,
Yeah.
and they have been hired to do a job.
Wow.
And they've done what they've done, and they continue to do what they do.
Wow.
I think it's pretty obvious to see, and it's just sad. But, you know, I'm a firm believer, you know, and I've had to learn this because I've had people do things to me, but I know that vengeance is not mine.
Yeah. It's the Lord's.
It exactly tells you in the Bible, and it tells you in my holy book.
The Quran.
So no good. Yes, you know, you're not. If someone does something to you, you're not supposed to seek revenge because it's not for yours. It's not for you to do that.
Yeah.
And no good is gonna. Nothing good ever comes from evil.
No.
And yes, he's going through it right now, but I feel like this was the only way. And I really do believe wholeheartedly that he'll get it this time. Because even if you're not the most literate person, you still have common sense.
Yeah.
And I think he knew, based off of conversations that I've had behind the scenes with people, like he knew. But it's like, it's sad because by the time he kind of got it, and he was, from what I heard, you know, he was in a process of making some changes as far as the people, because I think, you know, he started finding out some things. And then all of this just came like boom, 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 boom. You know, one thing after another. as sad as unfortunate, but you know, he's really gonna pull through, and I hope this makes him a better person. You know, the company you keep, you're only strong as the crew around you. Just imagine you got all these people around you, and you in this situation, and you mean to tell me you got this best friend for 20-some years, this one for 30 years, that one, and they can't come up with $100,000.
Wow.
That's sad. Do you think if Jay-Z got locked up right now and let's say he needed $10 million, do you think that, and I'm not talking about his famous friends, right? But I'm talking about the people that he worked around. Do you think they couldn't come up with 10% of that?
Yeah, they could.
You think he's gonna have those kind of people around him? Do you think any of them? You think they're gonna have? It's one thing. And see, that's what people don't know. There's industry friends and there's like real friends. I can guarantee you, if he needed that, he wouldn't have had to. He wouldn't still be sitting here. You think if they needed millions of dollars for lawyers, that their friends couldn't pull that out of their own pockets? And I think it's sad. You know, there was a lot of issues around, you know, different funds and stuff like that. But I feel like if his crew, right, the people that, my brother, this, and, you know, all of these people that claim to know him his whole life, I think if those people were as strong as he was, or I'm not saying they had to have as much money, but at least were well off for themselves. I feel like if they were in positions to help him, it would have been, none of this confusion would have been going on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could have, I feel like they should have been in a position to assist with whatever, as far as like social media and stuff, right? There should have been like, okay, this is what we need to do. You know, take the money part, all of that away. This is what I need to just push the message out there, push the message. So that way, the genuine people that was in this fight that really wanted to help him, we didn't have to be focused on, a defense fund, or who's stealing money, or what. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
It's just sick. That's why I don't even be interested in hearing nothing that none of them got to say. They should be ashamed of themselves. And if they listen, I hope they are. I'm telling you, all of y'all are weak and useless. You know, when you younger and you coming up and you 14, you 15 years old, you don't think about certain things. But as you get older and you start coming into adulthood, one thing about me, I'm a quid pro quo type of person. When no one can be my friend unless I choose for them to be my friend. So there has to be a mutual beneficial situation. You have to be able to benefit from me in some way. I have to be able to benefit from you in some way. Because one thing, the worst mistake you can make in life is surrounding yourself with people that have everything to gain and nothing to lose by being around you. I will listen. I don't care who you are. If you mean me no good, if you serve no purpose, if I can't benefit from you and you can't benefit from me, what the are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And if he's guilty of anything, I will say that is what he's guilty of. You know, when a person shows you who they are, the first time you believe them and you get them out of the way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Get them out of the way, because those people, let me tell you something, that crab in a barrel mentality, that shit is real. You know, at this point in the game, he should be like, I'm not saying retirement in a literal sense, but he's amassed a fortune, and it's sad that, you know, he has nothing. Like, he's like financially, he's in the position that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really know him, like, yeah, he, you know, you see the nice cars and the homes and stuff, but he's not like a reckless spender with money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think in a lot of ways he was just too relatable to people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying you got to play the Hollywood crowd, because I wouldn't suggest that either. You know, I wouldn't suggest getting too deep in the industry people either, because, you know, that's a whole nother world. But it's like, you didn't do that, but you just kept the most undesirable, degenerate, low vibrational people around you that meant you no good. They couldn't even do anything for themselves.
Yeah.
Let alone do anything for you. And I heard somebody, I don't remember who, but I heard them say, yeah, I did. And I heard somebody say, I forgot who it was, but they were like, oh, I did more for him.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
And I'm thinking like, huh?
Yeah, I remember
right?
that. Yeah, I remember that.
Will? Did Will say that? Was it him?
It was Will.
Okay, because I was listening to the live, and I was kind of like doing it, and I was like, wait, what did you just say?
Yeah, he said that.
I'm like, dude, like, please, and all, you know, whew, yeah.
He said that.
Yeah. I would feel like I failed my friend. Now, if I'm going left and you're going right, I'm gonna try to steer you. No, if you're going left and I'm going right, I'm gonna try to steer you in the right direction. But one thing about me, if I feel like I'm trying to steer you right and help you, and if I feel like this is somebody I call my friend, right, that I care about, that I love, I call my brother. And this goes for anybody. This ain't just, I don't want to make this about just one person, because his whole crew as a whole failed him.
Yeah.
I would walk away from you. I have a friend that we were friends for 25 years. And I still have some sort of love for the person. Like, I would never, like, certain things, but I felt like it came to a point where I just had to step away. Because like I said, if I'm going right and you going left, and we not moving in the, you know, not saying that we have to be the same, not saying we have to agree on everything, but if you're living a life that conflicts with my morals and principles and what I stand for, at some point, I'm going to have to move away from you. And see, you know, a lot of people, they can say different things about, but my thing is, you know, y'all didn't move away from him until you could no longer benefit.
Yeah.
How is it that, you know, this is your brother 20-something years and blah, 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 or, you know, somebody 30 years, or, you know, some people, they can't get their story right. You know, 1 minute, I worked for him for this amount of time, and you know, 1 minute, you know, they said, you know, I hadn't talked to him in 20 years, and then they come back and say, oh, well, you know, the relationship was ongoing, so which one was it?
Yeah.
Which one was it? Because did you work for the person, y'all went y'all separate ways, you didn't talk to the person for 20 years, but when the situation came out, then everybody showed back up. You see what I'm saying? I feel like there was a lot of that. I feel like it was a lot of that went on. I feel like there was people that worked for them, they were friends at one point in time, and I feel like for whatever reason, they went their separate ways, but as soon as this happened, all of a sudden, these people came back around. You know, and it's sad, but, you know, I just want to say before I get off, we just got to shift our focus. Shift the focus. Shift it. You know, it just has to be I think for now we know what the charges is. Anybody with a pen drop of a brain can you know, read the indictment and, you know, read the indictment and know what's being said. And I just want to say something too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to stand in courtrooms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And people who were as guilty as ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them get off because their due process rights was violated. And I just want to be very, very clear. I'm for the due process rights of any person. I don't care. Let me just say this. I wouldn't care if he was guilty of everything charged that was in that indictment. He is still entitled to his due process rights. And if any of these people that claim that they are for victims of sexual abuse, assault, domestic violence, or whatever, they should be advocating for the same thing.
Yeah.
You should want him to be not overcharged. You should not want the monies to be watered when it comes to all these frivolous things that, charges and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've seen guilty people walk free on a technicality. I've had my cousin, 15 years old, was murdered, shot in the face on camera in broad daylight for everybody to see. I will never forget this as long as I live.
Yeah.
The person who shot and killed my cousin in the face at 15 years old, my cousin was 15, he got off. You know why?
Why?
Because the judge they charged him with first-degree murder. They would not charge him with a lesser charge. Had they charged him with manslaughter or a lesser charge, he would have been convicted.
Wow.
And the person walked. The only thing they did time for was the gun.
Wow.
That's what they did time for, was the gun. And they didn't even do the full 5 years. Nope.
Wow.
So these people that's out here advocating, they should be advocating, even if they feel like he's guilty, they should be advocating for his due process rights, if that's what you believe.
Yeah.
And to Larry and to anybody, I would keep saying it only, how many trials, like 3, 4 trials. Yeah, it only takes one person. It only takes one person on each jury. And from my vantage point, and because I'm a critical thinker, I can find, and like I said, I don't know all of the discovery. I haven't seen everything, but from what's been put forth, at least as it pertains to the victims that we know about, I can find reasonable doubt in what they said.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll continue to do my research and look at what comes out in the coming weeks, and if I see something, I will put together some stuff and I will send it to Nicole and Tom, and I'm just going to stay in the background. I feel like the attorneys should not be bothered at this point. They should be left to do their job. They got a hard enough job, and they got a tough fight ahead. But I still believe that it can be won, whether it be won on appeal or it be won at trial. I think it can be done.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm going to get off, Sylvia. I'm going to get back in the chat.
Right,
thank you for letting me, call in and explain myself. Because sometimes typing, I don't like to type too much because I'll be having things to say, and sometimes when I say things, it be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Or it could sound one way, and I mean something like totally different. But
I got it.
thanks for letting me call in.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Hey.
What's going on?
Oh, nothing. How are you?
You've been on here for a minute. I've been gone. Went to the grocery store, came back. You still on?
I'm about to get off in a minute. Oh.
I'm out there delayed.
No, I hear you.
Oh, okay. I know that's right. It's crazy. But, oh, you know what? I know what. Hold on. That's me. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Look, stuff with Rob's case, it's overwhelming. It's so overwhelming or whatever. So, did you talk to who you needed to talk to see why they didn't come on? Remember yesterday? I don't want to say. Did
You're
you
gonna
do
have
something?
you have to text me because I don't know who it was. Because I didn't tell you who it was, did I?
You hinted.
I hinted, but I don't know if it's the same person
You know,
think.
I know who it was. Trust me. You know I know who it was.
Who?
You don't have to tell me. You know I know who it was. I don't want to say because you might be still working on it.
Oh, okay. I am still working on somebody. Okay. They're supposed to be coming in
tonight.
No, not tonight. No.
Oh, okay.
This week sometime.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. It's been so much going on and everything. So they're supposed to have these 50 witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So all these people are supposed to work for Rob?
I don't know. My thing is, I forgot to ask Joel about the enterprise. I forgot to ask Joel about that, the whole enterprise thing.
They supposed to, because it's not hard for 50 people. 50 people is not really a lot of people when it's multiple people. Like you have, I'm quite sure it's gonna be some people from the docuseries. They was the ones who jumped this off. So when they say witnesses, I'm quite sure some of them gonna just be character witnesses.
They don't really know them.
Huh?
They don't really know him. How can they do
it?
But
they if they put it out there on TV, you know what I mean, as if they did, that's just what it's going to be. So they're going to be, a lot of them going to be character witnesses. Trust and believe me, because they want to try to establish, same as Bill, prior bad acts and all those type of things or whatever. I'm hoping one of those witnesses is Jim Derogatis. I'm really hoping one of them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one of them is him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want him to testify first. I want to see if he's going to plead the fifth again.
Probably.
I want to see. Because that speaks volume if he does. You get what I'm saying? If you're really following me, what I'm going with this, like that speaks volume. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's saying that you do all of this, but then when it comes time to make a stance for who you say the Black girls in the neighborhood which you're supposed to be protecting or help protecting and spreading awareness, you choke up and say, I plead the fifth. You're not ever willing to put it out there on the stand. So your word is definitely not going to be credible again if you plead the fifth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm hoping that. Well, I just wanted to come in because you was live and you've been live all day
Yeah, I'm
and
about
show
to get off.
support and take your butt to bed because I'm
Yeah,
still
I'm
on
going to
bed
bed. You
too.
keep me getting sleepy, right?
I'm getting sleepy too, honey. I am tired too. I had a long day today.
Me
We
too.
took my husband out and stuff like that. I had a long day. I'm tired. That's why I was in and out. But now I'm home. I'm just chilling or whatever. So I just want to wish the men happy Father's Day in the chat. Tell your husband happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, everybody, again. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to sleep. Good night. Shakira, thank you for your words and thank you for your donation in chat. Thank you.
I meant to tell Gucci happy Father's Day, but he left out of here so quick.
Who, Gucci?
Mm-hmm.
He's in the chat.
Tell him I said happy Father's Day.
Gucci.
And Marshall too. Yeah, all right, babe. I didn't want nothing. I just wanted to come
I'm
in
about
and
to
just
go
show
get
love.
off too.
Okay.
But when you got to talk anyway, we're supposed to be doing that phone call. It never happened. No.
We probably do it tomorrow sometimes. Just call, hit me up.
All right.
All right,
All right,
fire.
guys. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Again, thanks for showing up. God bless. Love you.